Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Jen Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's good. We had a good week. We had a great week. We're decked out in our LA gear. The Dodgers won the World Series. The Galaxy moved on to the semifinals.
Yeah. Beat Colorado's ass also, specifically.
Man.
Which it was not looking like it was going to be the case for a while. But then the goals can come quick.
It was nasty.
Do you think watching the Galaxy play has warmed your mind to the idea of being ruthless when playing soccer against people? Because I know that was a sticking point for
yeah, that was
you,
a sticking
me, and
point we had,
EAFC.
huh?
But again, Isaiah, in Rush, it goes so fast. The court is really small. Like, you can score like 80 goals on that thing if you knew what you were doing.
You can, but I don't know. There's something about...
Like, should you? Wouldn't you do the same to me, though? Like, be real. Like, come on now.
No, I ease off the gas whenever I get like a huge freaking lead in front of other people.
Is this like a new feeling you have? Because I've never felt like you've eased off the gas. I feel like you step on my neck and then you
off the gas. What do you mean?
You twist your ankle into it.
No. You're painting me in a terrible light. That's not true.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That also, it's funny, like, it's the age-old question, like, should you let people win or should you ease up? I don't think so. I think, obviously, like, you shouldn't be, like,
I think there's a difference between letting someone win and then you just completely blowing someone out. Like, they could have stopped at a 2-point lead. You know what I mean? Like,
the Galaxy?
Well, in this case, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Points don't matter. If it was like if the points carried over and ultimately, the more points you get,
gotta stay on people's necks because here's the thing. In like that match,
you're so mean.
We weren't doing like that well, generally. Like a nice lead, a nice buffer, that's what's going to save you from like crazy stuff happening.
No, that's fair.
You got to stay on your and
that's fair.
I think the same is true in a game. I think it's unless you're like an adult facing a child, it is too hard to tool your skill to where you're winning and you're still gonna win. It's like, like, are we playing or are we not playing?
That's so funny. You're so mean. I didn't realize how ruthless you were.
Speaking of ruthless, I think this is a great transition into our games topic, which I'm so excited to talk about.
Yeah. Are you?
If you're ready to go there. Yeah, I had so much I wanted to say, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait because this is content.
All right, what are we talking about here?
So we're gonna talk about a couple things for games. We're gonna start off with our heaviest topic, the Pokemon trading card game. Is that the official name of it? Pokemon trading card game?
I think so.
This is a game that dropped on mobile, seemingly to me out of nowhere. I don't know if there had been announcements prior.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But you actually had brought this up to me. So like, when did you start seeing it? You basically told me, hey, what's going on with this Pokemon trading card game?
Yeah, no, I saw it on my Blue Sky feeds. I think it was it Mike, Jenny, and a couple other people in my feeds first started talking about it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can go for a little cute, Pokemon Go-esque kind of just like community. Oh, we're all doing this new Pokemon thing. And then I launched it. You set up an account, you start opening some of the free packs they give you, and I was like, oh man. Getting these packs feels kind of nice. It's kind of cool. You like swipe across the top to like rip it open and they come out. I didn't realize until last night, or at least like somewhat recently, where it's like you could flip the pack too, so that you start from the back when you're like revealing the cards and stuff. Like before you open the pack, you could like flip it, turn it around basically. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Like I know on my TikTok feed, I'll see people who do that and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? All right. You got me, Pokemon Company. You got me. I'm here. I'm interested. I'm opening packs. I'm battling. I'm sure we'll get to it. I usually just do the solo battles, like against you versus like a computer, basically. But they have like versus battles where like you could battle someone in IRL. The battling, I don't think is quite 1-to-1 to regular Pokemon, like the physical Pokemon trading card game, but I do think it's like heavily inspired and like as close as you could realistically do it in a simplified way. And I don't know, it's fun, it's nice. I like it. I like the app. I like the game. I'm battling. I'm collecting.
I should have taken more screenshots from our battle to really reference specifically what happened. Like I got to it a little bit later than you, which is like only like a few hours basically. And I want to talk about it for the show, so I'm like, okay, let me get into this so that I can at least like talk about it. And yeah, I think the animation work on like opening the packs, and I really like what's cool about you know, when digital versus physical, you always gain some stuff and lose some stuff. Like obviously with it not being physical, you don't get to like hold the cards and like look at them and stuff. But I think they knew that, and their compensation I think is nicely done. Like I like that with some of the like cooler looking cards, you can like move them forward and backwards and sort of they have like this, like if they were taken from digital real life, they'd have like an AR aspect to it. Like it's like a elevated, almost like a 3DS kind of look to it, but without the hurting your eyes. So it just looks like pretty nice. Yeah, they do have it's free to play. They have a monetization route that seemingly is like a pass-based monetization. I do think you can, it seems like you probably can buy one-off stuff. Like let me buy, you know, the classic,
I imagine
I spend money to get gold and then the, you know, whatever.
Use the gold to speed up timers. And
yeah, because you can only open like so many packs at like a certain time and stuff like that. But yeah, the battling seems cool. I did the tutorial. They have a basic tutorial 1 through 6, and then they have like advanced 7 through who knows what. Partly attitude based. I just want to like I'm just trying to get through this tutorial. Like I don't really care.
There's like, a lot of tutorials.
They kind of take a while. Like the tutorial, maybe it's just because I was really impatient for it, but it was like it was good. Like it was clear, but it wasn't like I wasn't feeling the tutorial that much. I was like, I just want to kind of go and then figure it out.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, but I think it, as far as it being a simplified version, it's been a million years since I played the Pokemon trading card game. And when I played it, I never really understood it because I played it as like a kid. I have a distinct memory. We had like we didn't have recess in my school. My school was like super janky. So we like didn't have recess. Really? We just had, like at a certain point or like sometimes in the year, they'd let us like be outside. And I remember one day we were just sitting on the sidewalk outside, like just on the ground, and some kids had the Pokemon card game, and they're like, "Do you want to play?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess." And I was like, "I don't really know what the fuck you're talking about, so I'm just gonna leave. Like, I'm good." And then I played a little bit in college for fun, but I have almost no memory of like how the energy stuff works. But I like that it's all just kind of automated. That's like, okay, cool, your energy fills. One of my favorite aspects of this as a virtual trading card game is when you're going to do something, but you like have other actions you could have done, a pop-up appears that's like, hey, did you mean to not like use all your energy? Did you mean to not use your passive cards? Yeah. And I think that's really helpful because it's like, it makes it a little bit more like idiot proof. I think anyone can really just jump in and play this. And generally, like if you understand the idea of attacking a thing, you can play the game. But what was your feeling on the, I guess how it compares to maybe other trading card game experiences? Because you've played like other stuff online, right? Like, and even just like, I don't know, deck builders, like video game deck builders.
So which I didn't know this for the longest time, the people who make the Pokemon cards is Wizards of the Coast, which is the same people that make the Magic the Gathering game. So
those people are really rich.
No, facts. So it took a long time for me to realize that. And then once I learned that, people in learning that, it was like I was at like a card shop or something, and like people were like, so like honestly, if you like one, you'll probably like the other, like because they heavily, you know, are similar to each other, right? I was like, oh man, that's actually really cool. So going into this, having never played the physical Pokemon card game, I have played Magic though. We talked about that on other episodes. I can see the similarities to Magic in even this simplified game where there is the concept of energy and you need to like attach energy to Pokemon in order for them to do their moves or to swap out Pokemon or do whatever.
Ink and Lorcana.
Similar to the Ink and Lorcana. So like coming from other trading card games, this one feels simplified, but not overly simplified. Like there's still strategy to it. You still need to think about elements and type advantages. You still need to think about some of the support cards that you can play to like, you know, heal a Pokemon or double the damage or make it retreat for free or whatever, right? Like there's, you know, get more draw more cards. Like there's still strategy to the game, but it's not overly strategic. So it's really nice. I like it. I definitely recommend people check it out if they're interested. And I'm sure you'll see people on your timelines talk about like, oh, here's my friend code, add me on Pokemon trading card game. And you know, you get benefits like that. I will say that is the thing I dislike the most about it is that, like Pokemon Go, it is a game that you can only move so fast in. Unless you are willing to just dump money into it. Like if you want to, and this isn't to say like, oh, no, it's a free game. You should do this, blah, blah, blah. No, I understand it takes server costs to run the game and developers to upkeep it and features and blah, blah, blah. I get that. My thing is like, at that point, just sell me the game. I'll happily pay.
They're selling you the game
$20, $30 for it. It was like a one-time thing. But then like, you have to like wait. You can only you can only open 2 booster packs a day for free. Else you can use like these things that speed up this like 12-hour timer between when you can open the packs, or there's another timer that lets you. There's basically timers all over this game, and you can spend money to speed up the timers. And I don't like that. And I don't know if that's just a me thing. How do you feel about that?
I'm like maybe a little bit more positive, but it's still a little annoying. I think the annoying part of just starting the game, and I'm sure if I feel like putting more time into it, I might get into a flow. But it does feel like a little bit of an isolated experience. I know they're adding to it. I know they have like a section that mentions, it's like in the social hub. It says that eventually they'll be getting trading. Like that'll be coming, its label is coming soon. They have community showcases, which I'm not really sure like what the vibe is there. I'm like looking now. It's like, I guess you can show off your favorite cards and then people can like that. I don't know if you liking it gives them anything, but I just feel like, okay, well, what am I doing besides like opening some packs and then like waiting around? And I know that like when you were kind of explaining some of the game to me last night, you're like, just go around each of the tabs and look for things you could do. But I don't like doing that. I think the thing about games like this, besides the fact that they're always on timers, is it feels like they give me almost like dailies that I'm not that interested in doing. Like I think in a game like Animal Crossing or Fields of Mystria, or like, more like simmy, slow kind of game, even like Metaphor Fantasio to a degree, the idea of like doing your dailies, I like that when I enjoy the thing I'm doing and it's like exciting to get the rewards. But I feel like at the end of the day, all the rewards only come back to a singular thing, which makes sense because it's a card game, but it's just about the cards. And it's like, I don't know. It's like not that. I want a little bit more to like latch onto. I know that might sound kind of dumb in the sense that like, if you don't like trading cards, it's a trading card game.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. Like I want to, I wish I felt a little bit more attached to like the different ways of playing. And maybe that will come with like community showcases or something, or even just like, I guess I just want a little bit more to do that would feel like it's engaging or taking advantage of like the different ways that people enjoy Pokemon and enjoy the cards. Like when I was like looking at the, they give you like Wonder Pick, which is kind of a really cool concept actually, where it's like, you can click into a sort of collection of items. Sometimes it's like from a user, or sometimes it's from like the AI or whatever. But like this one, for instance, Kel95, like I don't know who that is. Kel, if you're listening, that'd be crazy.
Shout out.
Like, let me know, please. But they have like a pack. It's labeled like Genetic Apex Charizard, and they have like a Vileplume, a Skiddo, a Golduck, a Mawile, apologies for the pronunciation, and a Wooloo. So I could click into that. It cost me like 2 hearts to click into that, and then they'll shuffle the cards up, and I have to pick one, and then I like get to have one of those. It's like, that's kind of fun. Well, and I think it's like another layer to like engage, but they don't have a lot of instances where I feel like there's something fun for me to do, because in that context, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I hope I get this one. And then I get to like see if I get it. And I'm like, I did one last night and I was like, I hope I don't get Meowth. And I got Meowth. And I'm like, no, he's so ugly. And it's, and it's like, that was a fun like 30 seconds. But you were going to say something.
I was going to say, I think that is honestly the whole like Wonder Pack thing, I think is one of the cooler elements of this, which I don't know if you know what it is or the listeners know, but just for context, it is like the Wonder Packs are packs that other people have opened. Yeah. And like it basically, which is an incentive for you to like, add your friends and,
the tides grow your friends rise.
Where it's like, oh man,
maybe
like
some sicko spent $50 and I can get a card that they got.
Like you get a small chance at picking a card from a pack that one of your friends or someone else in this like games community has opened. So I think that's really cool. And I never even thought of that.
But,
I'm sure
an AI, but
I never even like thought of that being a feature in a digital trading card game. That is so smart in practice. The downside is, well, it takes energy to do that, and you have to either buy or wait for energy to refill, and then we're back to square one, right? Like the thing that I complained about before. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. Also, there's only 3 booster packs right now, so I'm curious to see like where they go from here. Obviously, there's probably a lot of different cards in just these 3 packs that you can choose from, and you know the randomness of it, the missions they give you sometimes have you like needing to collect 4 of a kind or 5 of a kind or something like that in order to like get these like little
rewards,
XP bumps. So I think there's a good amount of content for right now. I'm curious, I don't know, 3-4 months from now, what is it going to look like? You know what I mean? Are they going to have more packs that you can choose from with more Pokemon that are exclusive to those packs? And then it's like, oh, well, are you like, then it almost comes into like I feel like if they do too much too fast, then it just like emphasizes a need to spend money where it's like, oh, I can't compete because I don't have these good Pokemon cards and I need to either spend money or just wait until eventually I catch up.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're like on the back end, how they're scaling like matchmaking and things to account for stuff like that. I think too, this does fall victim of a lot of like free to play, the classic free to play game issue, which is like too many types of like items and currency. It's like
so many.
A lot of my attitude towards gaming is I ain't gonna read all that. Like, you know, which is funny because I like story games. Like I'll read when I feel like what I'm reading is meaningful, but when it's like I don't personally feel, outside of, you know, I guess explaining to y'all who are listening, I don't want to know how a ticket is different than an emblem, is different than a special, is different than an hourglass, is different than, you know, it's like there's just like a lot to look at. And it's like, oh, if I spend 300 tickets, I can get a special shop ticket, which is like, I don't like, you lost me. So I do think it falls victim of that a little bit. I do wish that there was more of a through line. I think the reason a lot of free-to-play games do that, though, is because they want to disguise the fact that a lot of times they're just exchanging like currency for another currency for another currency. Like, I don't know. But that is a little bit like of an annoyance of like this kind of style of game. Yeah. And then the big thing. So as I thought, other than like you can get the premium pass, which lets you open only one more pack every day. That's a little light.
Yeah.
But you also get other benefits. Where are those? I don't feel like clicking in to see it because I'm scared that I'm going to click too far and kind of. But then also you can just buy like the gold itself. It's like, okay, the 99 cents, you get this much gold. And then of course you can use the gold to buy like tickets or something, some nonsense.
Yeah.
But they do have a limit on how much gold can be used per day to reduce like the time opening pack. So it does seem like they like have some form of a slowdown for the whales. So we'll see how things go. I do like the mission structure a lot just to give you something to do. But now getting into battles. So I did it in my AI battle because I was like, oh, do the AI battle first, like so you know how to play. I'm like, okay, whatever. We played together. It's matchmaking, I'd say pretty easy. The only con to matchmaking is it is the classic, like I have to make like a private room that then is like has some password and I wait in there and then Isaiah kind of has to come in pretty quickly because I made it at first and was just sitting there and I'm like, that's fine, I'll sit here forever. But after a while it does auto like kind of close, like no one was here. It's like, yeah, so it's like it's not my favorite setup for like matchmaking. I also would just wish that they had like I'm surprised they don't have friends. Like a way to just like request to battle a friend. Yeah. It's like instead it seems like you have to just go into a room.
That's actually really shocking.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to like putz around on the app and just double check that that's correct.
I'll play around with it.
While I'm like, you know, while we're going over all this. But I did not see I figured from the friends tab I could just like click on you and like request a battle, but that wasn't really there. So yeah, we fought. Why don't you tell me what you think happened in this battle and then I will tell my story.
You know, I think, sorry for a quick reference, going into a friend and like clicking into their profile, you can see your battle record, like the times you've battled each other, which for us,
this will be great for, it didn't update?
No.
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't know if you like quit out the game.
No. I gave you, I even hit the little thanks. I'm not gonna lie, as a hater, I considered not hitting thanks because it says like after you battle someone, you can like, it's a send a thanks. This person will receive shop tickets if you send them thanks. But you also have the option to just hit not give them thanks. Which a quick aside there, I think it is very cute that this game integrates a level of sportsmanship and friendliness that gives you little rewards. It's like, oh, if you say, give them some kudos and they'll get like half of a ticket or something. And it's like, I think that's cute. So good on them for that. But I was like, or you could be a hater and just, not give them the things. So I did hit thanks. So they should have a record.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it's a new game bug. You know what I mean?
This will be great for our constant debate of you claiming that I don't win as much as you think I do. Okay, well, let's really play this regularly and then see what happens. Let's see what I already know, and then you can move the goalpost to make it.
Oh my gosh. Well, so I think our game was fun. I had a good time. We go in. It's just like if you were to play against the AI, except it's another person on the other end. I think our game went well. I think it was pretty close.
Was it?
I would say it was. It was like 3-2. Yeah, I only won by 1 point. But I did win. And as soon as I won, I could feel in the room the air just vanish. It became a vacuum of just.
Actually, I'm gonna let you finish the story. Go ahead.
It became just I was just sitting in like a dark. You know how like in shows and cartoons and stuff, it'll be like, oh, all of a sudden a ghost is like in the room, but only one person can see the ghost, and they don't, no one else is like aware that the ghost is just like looming around them and stuff. I felt like that. I felt like the person in the room who could see the ghost just looking at me, staring, dagger.
No, I'm chasing a ghost. Stream Chromacopia, y'all. No, anyway, but but it was fun. Down to play some more, especially once we like play more, we get more Pokemon, we make our own decks. Like I think we were both still just using like pre-made decks basically. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? I did think it was fun, and I like that. I forget because again I didn't play the card game. I like that you can like swap your Pokemon out and still have them attack. Yeah, which is not something you can do in the video game. Which Correct. Is like that's why I never swap Pokemon. I'm like, just you won't die out there because what's the point? I don't get any incentive for swapping you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll swap if it's like a big type difference, but like usually I'm not swapping in game for that reason. So I like that aspect of it. It was just funny because again, Isaiah's convinced that we're like much more even than we are. Like we're not even. Like I'm not gonna win that often, and that's fine because if I needed to win, I would not be where I am today. Like I just I can't operate from a place of needing to win. Like it's just not gonna work well. But the reason it's really funny where I'm like, the reason like Isaiah felt that in the room is because the way Isaiah won. And I'm like, this man has the gall to say, it's really rude if you run up a score somewhere. I'm like, dude, you run up stuff all the time because the way you won was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary.
No, it was very necessary.
No, it was not. I had, I forget, I should screenshot them. I think I had Rapidash out. Yeah. Which is really fun doing that. Again, this is old TCG, like, no shit comments, but like being able to like evolve Pokemon, it's like a fun experience, especially if you again haven't really played the physical trading card game very much. It's like you can kind of have like it's just nice. It's like a nice like version of what you already know if you play the games, the video games. But I had Rapidash out. I forgot how much HP I had. Maybe like maybe I still had my full HP. I don't remember. It might have been 70. My attacks could do like 40 damage or something. Isaiah brought out, who'd you have? Slowbro, yeah. Slowbro, fucking tanky as shit. Like 130 HP. He has an attack that can do 80 damage that Isaiah's been silently fucking putting energy on. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. At that moment, I'm looking at, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at me. Oh, I'm going to die. Because it's like, it's just math. That's just math. So Isaiah won already. He already won. He could just hit me and I would die. Literally, I literally don't have more HP than your attack. Unless I have like some crazy shield that's gonna appear, which you kind of go back and forth. You go back and forth, so it's pretty clear that like I already did my thing. It was his turn. He had that out. It's like, okay, cool, like you're gonna win. But that's not enough for Isaiah. He had to bring out some magic ass card. He had 2 bullshit cards, which is so funny because that's like classic Isaiah. He has like these crazy cards that like I'll never have. It's like, I'll be in the lead and it's like, I have a card that says if you're in the lead, you can't play for the rest of the game. It's like, what? So he had one card that like swapped out my whole hand for some other shit. I didn't say nothing about that. I just kept it pushing, whatever. Then instead of just one hit killing me, which he could have already done.
I couldn't. No, yes, it would have took 2. It would have took 2
It would not have taken 2. It would not have taken 2.
Health. You
do 80 damage.
But you had 100 health.
I don't think I had 100 health.
I know you had 100 health, which is why I did it.
But so he swaps out. This is like the strongest Pokemon I have, you know?
It is.
Like, and it's not even like, that's it. Like, he's the Rapidash is the strongest one. And I still think he actually already had damage on him, but I don't remember and I didn't screenshot it. So Isaiah does a card where I have to swap out the Pokemon. So I had to put down, and now everyone else already gotten hit a couple times. So I had to put like a 20 HP for his 80 attack. And it's just like, and I don't mind that because I think Isaiah is right? It's like, you have to play your best game because you never know what your opponent might have. You never know how things might change. Like, you always have to be playing your best. But just admit that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just say that because how are you gonna do these two like crazy ass cards on my like barely know how to play the game ass deck on not good at strategizing and then tell me it's really mean that you beat me in Rush 5-2? It's like, come on, man. Like, you know, I do appreciate you owning up to the fact that you are a sore loser, but just admit that that's the connection. It's not. I don't believe in running it up. That's bullshit.
No. Because at the end of the game, the score was 3-2. For every Pokemon you kill, you get a point, and the first 3 points wins.
Every Pokemon that faints?
Sorry, every Pokemon that faints, the other person gets a point.
Yeah.
And it's first to 3. At the end of the game, the score was 3-2. Mm-hmm. It was very close, 1 point difference. It is still different than running up the clock. If I beat you 3-0,
close
then
on the board. Close on the board.
Rough.
I think we all know if you play games and you watch sports and you're fucking alive on Earth and you're not 7 years old, I think we all know that numbers do not tell the whole story of a match. You know, there are games, you can have a game where you win by fucking 2 points and you still suck. You just got lucky. You know what I mean? Like, think of, yesterday we watched that Galaxy game, right? That first goal that we scored. That was a cheap ass, weird ass goal. It still counts. Yeah. Cheap goals count as much as great ones. So it's like, yeah, that's definitely like, be excited about that. But like, that wasn't a good goal and we weren't doing a good performance for the longest time. And I would argue we never really fully got into full gear as like a team. We just happened to like, we got a little bit of momentum and Ricky did what Ricky does. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
And that can happen anytime. Like, you always have to be on your P's and Q's, but like, and you're not going to admit today, but I invite you to accept that you're just as annoying as you claim everyone else is.
I don't think I am. I couldn't win in that turn without making you swap Pokemon. If I could have, I would have, because I know how that would feel. I know how it would look and all that. I would have done it differently if I could have. But I wanted to end it there, especially we recorded right after. We were busy. The schedules were
also too
packed. And
this probably is because Isaiah's better at strategy than I am. Like, that's just fact. But like, Isaiah always be taking the longest to do his turn. I was like, it was like your opponent is still choosing, and I'm like, Isaiah, wrap this shit up. Like, you're gonna win. Like, why are we playing like? Isaiah be playing like he's playing against someone that he need to think about. Like, come on now. Like, Isaiah,
I do.
Again,
you are a.
Put out your guy with the hat, and I'll put out my guy with the bat.
I did have to think about it. But yeah, I like the game. I'll probably play a little bit more. Hopefully you'll join and continue to
I'll keep playing against you, but it's like
trade once we get there.
I'm just this is like those situations where like you're right, and it just takes the other person like a while. The other person all late and shit. They'll be like, you know what? It turns out you were right, and I'm like, yeah, I know I was right. Like, I've been waiting for you to get here. Like, that's what I would like to see happen by the end of things. I also technically would, I guess, in my ideal world, I would just get good enough where we really would be more competitive. But also, if I get too competitive, we're never gonna play these games again because you can't stand losing.
Competition.
You like competition, but you don't want to lose.
No, I'm fine losing. I just don't like blowouts.
You're like some like fucking sports sicko where it's like I want to like have it be close, but then I want to come up so I can look more glorious. That's like really,
man.
Yeah, but it was funny because I'm just like, it was funny to me because like I was not necessarily mad that I lost, but I'm just like, I was amused that it's like, yeah, and I lost the exact kind of ways that Isaiah got these crazy ass cards, and he'll be like, whoa, it was really close because it was never close. I knew before I started the match I wasn't gonna win, and if you didn't know that, then you're the idiot actually. Like, Isaiah, come on, please.
This is more about you than it does me.
To the untrained eye, I think people who have lived the life that I've lived, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's like, yeah, you got these people who are like, oh, did I win? Oh my god, who could have guessed? But yeah, like it's a pretty fun game. It's simple enough. I'm not sure how like the deck building stuff is gonna end up going for me specifically because historically, I don't think I'm good at like making a deck in a game is the thing.
They do have like a auto build, and then you can like further edit.
Yeah, maybe
which
that'll
is
be
nice.
something. But then I also feel like that's kind of a bummer because it's like I want to make my own. Like in what's the Final Fantasy game?
Rebirth?
Yeah, but they have the
Queen's
card
Blood?
Queen's Blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
love Queen's Blood. I have a lot of fun. I have my own little strategies. When my chat told me that like the deck you made is not very good, I was like, is it not good? Because I thought it was good. I thought my deck, I was like, oh my God, I made like such a good deck. Like, and I'm like, if this deck isn't good, we have bigger problems. It's like, you know, when you think you did like, oh, I ate with this, and it's like, actually it's all incorrect. It's like, I have a fundamental that I don't understand then. I don't have an understanding of this game the way I thought I did. I feel like that might happen with me in this game. And also like, you know, eventually we got to get back to Lorcana and like do that some more. But like, I don't know. Games are so tough for me because like strategy games are so tough because I feel like there'll be those people who are say like, oh, like lean into one strategy. And then other people might say, no, you want to have like a strategy and then a backup strategy. But then I've done both and like neither has worked for me. Like Balatro is like that too, where it's like, I love that game. I think it's really well made and it's very like friendly to losers. Like I really like playing that game despite not winning very much. But if it seems like anything I do in Balatro, it's like never the right thing. And it's like, I don't know. And then it's like I'll be like winning a lot, and then they're like, oh well. Again, Balatro is like when I play Balatro, it's like I'm playing against you, but like souped up. Where Balatro will be like, oh, did you buff up pairs? Every pair gets you negative $1 million. It's like, okay, well, like also you're forced to play pairs. Like it's just like the weirdest blinds are there. And then it's just like, but then if I split it too much, I never get strong enough in anything. So I just don't really like, I don't know.
Is surprisingly luck based to a degree. I don't like those too much. I'm fine with those for a little bit. Like there's these kind of like card games where you can do stuff to influence your luck or like influence your play to where like even with bad luck you can kind of still get away with it. I don't think Balatro is one of those games. You can absolutely like the seed can just not be in your favor and you just will not win.
I don't know, but I feel like the fact that they have, I really like that in Balatro they have like you can share the code to your seed and let other people give it a shot. And I feel like if you post any bad seed, someone is going to eat you up on that seed.
I mean,
so I feel like it is still like skill. You know what I mean? Like luck definitely plays a role, but I feel like there's no such thing as a bad seed in Balatro. Like if you think your seed's that bad, post it, and I guarantee you the internet's gonna like someone's gonna body you that seed.
That's probably true. That is probably true.
And that's I think and that's the thing. Like it's hard to admit to oneself that like the truth is it actually is me. Like sometimes it is bad luck, but also like an unskilled player with good luck is worse than a skilled player with bad luck every time. Skill is always gonna win. Because I remember like it's like when I and that's my beef with Rogue likes too. It like combines like it when you throw in the element of luck, skill becomes actually like more weighted, I feel like in a way, because it's like now like the shifts are around. It's like, do you know how to take advantage of like certain things and move? Can you switch up what you're doing to be in the flow of what luck is providing you?
Yeah.
And the answer for me is always no. Like I cannot switch up because I could barely get it going when I was on my own.
Yeah.
So like I remember like in Binding of Isaac, like at the like I had one really good run. Like I got to Mom again. I only got to her like a couple times. Like my whole time playing, I played like 1 million hours of that game, and I had like incredible items. And I'm like, if I can't do it here, I'm never gonna do it. And I didn't do it. And I'm like, I'm never gonna beat this game. And I just was like, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Because it's like I had like, I don't know, every time you die, you get like you're alive again plus like 8 hearts or something crazy. I had like something really, really pretty good, and I just couldn't do it. I just choked under the pressure. I was like, I can't do it. So
Damn.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the kind of stuff I go through, Isaiah. I know you don't understand, but you know, while you sit here, it's like you kind of like as far as skill, like you give like rich kid who's like, you know, I have to work a student campus job too. It's like your life is different than mine.
I have to manage my own trust fund.
Exactly. I manage my own trust fund. It's like, yeah, you don't understand though. It's never gonna be the same as it is for you. Yeah, you're Batman before he became dope in Batman Begins. You're Bruce Wayne. You gotta go 800 miles for anyone not to know your name. So don't come to me with your anger, with your hate, because people like you will never understand people like me, and you will always fear what you don't understand.
Yeah.
So go away and go hang out with Ra's al Ghul and come back and tell me that you understand what it means to lose at a game of strategy, Isaiah, because I don't know how those would even compare. He would teach you how to be bad at card games. I don't know what the comparison would be. But yeah, we'll keep playing, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of close games, Isaiah. And then I'm sure I'll win one or two, and you'll be like, "Remember when you won?"
Hey, well, we got the record now. Hopefully,
it's different. Did it come up?
No, but hopefully it eventually does. And
yeah, I'll have to add some other friends. I don't know how long I'll be playing this. What about you? Do you feel like this is gonna be a new daily for you? I don't know if I feel like always jumping into it, but it's decent.
It's enough that I'll probably do it at least for the next like couple weeks. Like, at least next 2 or 3 weeks, I'll probably stay on it, open my packs. After that, after December hits, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. I might never open this again. I might continue to open it daily. Who knows?
I think it's also nice that like it's just a quick card game.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Like we play something like Lorcana, and it's like, hey, are you doing anything tonight? Or are we playing Lorcana? Because it's like so long, and that's also the nice thing about it. That's pretty quick to do. So. This will need to be our new go-to. You know how I hate when you play solitaire? Mm-hmm. It's like instead of playing solitaire, we're playing Pokemon trading card game against each other, so I can be involved because you just be playing solitaire, and I'm like, damn, what we're doing is so boring. You're fucking playing solitaire. That's crazy. I mean, usually we're just like on a train or something, which means we're not in LA we're on a train. But anyway, speaking of, I guess like game illnesses or whatever, platinums. I thought it would be fun if we brought to the table like kind of our platinum history, how many plats we have, our rationale for getting plats, and then kind of, going back and forth and kind of talking about which actual games we have platinums for. So starting with the number of plats, I have 15, and you have?
I have 54.
That's honestly less than I thought you would have. I thought you would have like 72.
And again, this is like from when trophies first dropped.
When was that?
It was during the PS3
I think so
gen,
too.
so
I didn't get into trophies until the late PS4 because I didn't actually like even have like a cohesive account. I know a lot of people were like, I've had my account since I was like on the PS3 or on my PSP
since 2008.
Yeah, I didn't make the PSN account I'm using now. I did not make until like late PS4 era.
Okay, yeah. So
like. That's why my trophies are so
it could be like an easy, 8-year jump.
Well, I gotta be honest though, like I didn't play like an insane amount of games as a kid. It's like we had like 12 games per console, so it was never gonna be like crazy numbers. But mine's definitely more modern than I think yours is. How do you decide what you get platinums for and what you don't?
For me, it sort of starts with like, do I enjoy this game? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, maybe once, like again, if you go back through the 54 platinums I have, 1, maybe 2 are like hate platinums or like jank platinums where it's like, I'm only doing this because it's like you can get it in 2 hours kind of thing. Every other platinum I have, it usually starts with like, am I enjoying this game? Am I having a good time? Do I want to continue to even play this, right? I don't even finish all the games that I start now, so let alone doing a platinum for a game, just to say I got the platinum, that's too much. So has to start with I enjoy the game. Then usually as you play, you kind of get a sense for what trophies a game might have, right? Whether it's like, oh, collect these things or beat it on this difficulty or, this secret mission or secret bosses, do a boss rush or something like that. I'll generally get a sense as I'm playing. And then if I think it's like, oh, I wonder what the platinum, like usually I'm like, I wonder what the platinum's like. What are the trophies like for this game? A third, halfway through a game, I might look up the list, see what like non-hidden trophies are saying. And then from there, if it's like, oh, you know what? I think I might go for it. Sometimes I'll look up a guide and it'd be like, I forget what it is. I think it's PlayStationTrophies.org. PlayStation.
Really? Isn't it like PSN profile?
Trophies.
It's like a trophies thing.
PlayStationTrophies.org. Usually they or PSN profile. Sometimes
PSN profiles, yes.
I go back and forth between the two. I think usually though, PlayStationTrophies.org. I'll search, video game name guide, trophy guide, and they'll have like a breakdown where it's like, here's the difficulty out of 10. Here's the minimum number of playthroughs. If there's any missable trophies, and then like a recommended way to approach getting the platinum.
Okay.
Whether it's like, oh, just play the game how you normally do it and then do a cleanup run because you need a new game plus anyways or something like that. I'm like, cool, great. I'll keep that in the back of my mind as I continue playing. But yeah, I'm not everything I play I get the platinum for. I'm not I go too out of my way for a like mediocre game just to get the trophies for it.
Sure.
I maybe younger me, right? Again, when the trophies first dropped, you know, I booted up a Barbie game for some trophies at one point. I admit that, you know, we've grown, we've matured. But now, no way.
Okay.
What about you?
For a while, I was trying to pick only games I loved for platinums. Then I was like, love is so rare these days. You know what I mean? I'm like, but it is pretty much, I have to like the game. If I don't like the game, I don't want the platinum, because I don't want you like dirtying up my stats. Like, I don't want people to look at this and be like, oh, this is what I represent. Even though my stuff is in public, so it doesn't, no one would be, but like, I don't want to look at it myself and be like, nah, I don't have to explain this away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be games that I enjoyed. So that's the minimum. I have to enjoy the game, actively like the game. And it has to be either not too hard or like something I want to do. I guess more so want to do than hard. Like, if it's the only difficulty that completely it's like absolutely not is when they like literally want you to change the difficulty. I don't do any platinums for the beat it on the hardest difficulty. Absolutely not. I'll never do that. No. That. That shit is so fucking dumb. And I'm not gonna lie, part of it is the hater in me, where it's like, because I'm not gonna play it on hard. It's like, well, I guess I could try. It's not like it's impossible for me to play a game on hard, but it's like, I don't want to play on hard. I want to play on normal. It's the baseline experience. I feel like giving platinums for like beating it on the hard difficulty, it's incentivizing the worst people on this earth, which are people that are like try hard bitches who are like, I beat it on ultra mega. I'm like, fucking do something else. Like, go play another video game. Like, not even go outside. Just tab over to something else, because I don't like it. I don't like you. I don't like what you're about. I don't like what this platinum represents. I don't like it. It's like annoying as fuck. So yeah, I'll never. And I'm glad they've gotten rid of that a lot. I'm not a fan of a new game plus platinum either. I hate new game plus platinums. It's like, I don't know. And I feel like whenever people talk about New Game Plus, it's like, oh, it's really fast, though, now that you have the stuff. It's like, what are we doing here? What do you think? I want to fucking run through your game at full speed with like, I don't know.
I think unless the game like drastically changes because of New Game Plus,
the only exceptions
New Game Plus.
I have for the try-hard bullshit is the Resident Evil stuff. Y'all could keep that because it's kind of part of your culture. Like, your weirdo beat in X amount of time. Yeah. I can't do that stuff, but I feel like that's part of what y'all be rocking with. And I feel like something about that community, they could have that. Like, I feel like they have fun with it, and it feels really part of the DNA of the franchise in a way that I think is rare for like everybody else. I feel like everybody else is like, nah, you just threw like hard difficulty in there. But like Resident Evil, it just feels like classic to do that. So I don't think their trophies are like try hard trophies, because it's like part of their identity. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. So my 15 are a nice, like, if I had them on a shelf, I could be like, these are my pals, my video game pals. So how do you want to go about this? Do you want to just go down the list, kind of reverse chronological, or I don't know if this is alphabetical or when? I just went down my list. And wrote down names.
Generally it's like kind of when you got them, or reverse chronological order. I said we just maybe start with the ones we have in common.
Okay, yeah.
Knock some of those out. Talk about them.
Okay. Astrobot,
the most recent, I think, for both of us. Great game. I think we had an episode with
we did talk about it a little bit already.
Fantastic game.
Walked hand in hand to the end. I was so bummed I got it as fucking fake Nathan Drake, because I didn't realize that you become Nathan Drake when you go to this episode. I wanted to be Jack, and I wasn't Jack, and I wanted to get the orb, but you didn't even see it in the picture. So I was really bummed about that. But I did get the platinum.
Oh, that was really funny. But got that platinum. Fun game.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. You know, again, a single playthrough and then like a cleanup afterwards. Yeah, fantastic platinum approach. A couple secrets here and there. You know, you can get them at any time. I love that. I love a platinum that you can like almost choose what your last trophy is going to be. Yeah, and then do something fun for it. You know, those are always fun.
Same, even though I messed mine up, but I do like that. And I like that this is like such a game that really warrants completionism. Like, I feel like I really got stuff out of being a completionist in this game. Not so much like really cool stuff, like there's no like secret ending or like ultimate suit. I mean, I guess you get a suit for that one thing, the like challenge level that they give you at the end. So there's that, but it doesn't feel like it's necessarily doing any of those like old school secrets. But I think the game is really well designed and really well made. And the fun, this sounds kind of dumb because you could argue this is Country River game, but in this game, the fun of the game is truly playing the game.
Yes.
It's not about like finishing it. It's about like when going through the levels slowly, looking at everything, putzing around with the stuff. Like that is leaning into the brilliance of the design.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their collectible style trophies support that element of the design. And I like when Platinums can do that and when trophy lists can do that. And I feel that in Astrobot. The only one that isn't like that is like they have a lot of little things with the bots. It'll be like, find, the craziest bot bandicoot of them all.
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't really care. I don't know.
It's like lore puzzles.
Yeah,
almost.
like I wasn't like in love with those. I think it makes sense they have them because like the references are such a big thing. But like, I just looked those up. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I don't know where.
No, that's fair.
Psychomantis is standing in the field,
Yeah, no, really. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. Fun time. The only, I guess, gripe I have is similar to yours. Is like when those kind of like lore trophies are just so obscure that you have to look them up. If it's one thing to like be challenged by like, have an idea, right? Where I think there's a spoiler alert, I guess, for Astrobot's trophies. Specifically, it's like there's one where it's like, the God of Ice and the God of Thunder fight once again, or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, cool. I know this is dealing with like Kratos in some way, but like, and maybe Thor for like God of Lightning, but I don't know exactly what I have to do. And I think I did end up having to like look up like, okay, I know I'm like right here. I'm knocking on the door. I don't know what it is I need to physically do.
Yeah.
But I know it's around here. I don't feel smart when I have to look up stuff like that because I feel the clue was really weak. But hey, it's an easy fix.
It's the children who are wrong. Yeah.
No, it was me. I didn't get it. But I appreciate a more clear clue if you're gonna give a clue.
Sure. All right. Next up, why don't we go back and forth? For
yeah, sure. I figure we start with some of the more single player ones because we actually have a good amount of overlap because some of these trophies we have are just like co-op games. So, Chance of Sonar, we both have that. Fantastic game. Honestly, it was in my top 5 for that year.
Yeah.
Easily in my top 5 for that year. That game was so good.
I think it was last year.
Was it last year? I guess it's already November. So
yeah,
last year was a while ago. So.
Damn, it wasn't. It wasn't in my top 5, but it was in my top 10. There was a lot of good games last year.
It was a good amount. Yeah. That was a fun game, puzzle game.
It maybe should have been in my top 5 though. Not looking back at the
probably
list,
right.
I think it is better than Marvel Spider-Man 2 in a way.
Oh,
in a way, it's also more flawed though than Marvel Spider-Man 2. So that's why I had it lower.
They go for different things.
Yeah, like Chance Sonar makes more mistakes, but it's because it's trying something way more interesting than I think Spider-Man is. But like Spider-Man also did a really good job, so it's kind of like.
No, that's fair.
Anyway, so I did rank them ranking a little lower. Lies of P I also really liked, and that's also above Chance Sonar. But anyway, this isn't a ranking list. This is a platinum list.
Chance Sonar, fantastic game. And you already mentioned it, Spider-Man 2, we got both of those platinums. Thoughts on, you said you like Chance Sonar. How'd you like the Chance Sonar platinum? It's kind of like a just completionist platform, like platinum, where you just
it's like hard as fuck, honestly, and I'm not smart enough to do it. But I don't got anything against it because I think it is a good platinum because it's like, hey, this is a puzzle game. Like, can you finish the overarching puzzle of the game? And the answer that I have is no, I cannot. So I just said, Isaiah, where do I gotta go? And I just did what you said. Like, I gotta be so real. Like, I didn't,
Yeah, that's fair.
What's nice about the platinum is you don't need to deserve it. You can just take it because you can just look it up if you want. Like, I didn't deserve that platinum. I just took it,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool. Like, again, Chance of Sonar is like a fantastic game about deciphering language and using that to like put things together. I do think in its last fourth, it starts to, for me, ask a little too much. Like, I feel like it's like, whoa. I thought this was like a puzzle game that even the dummies could rock with. I didn't know like you had to fucking open your third eye and like read the glyph on the side and turn it, and
they kind of Santa Barbara it.
They had this crazy puzzle where you're like doing stuff with weight. Maybe some people could solve this easily, and I just was bad at it. But like the weights on the scale, and they want like, no, it's too much. It was too much for me. I couldn't do it. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'd say it's a good platinum. It is I think it's a little extra, but I do think it's a fair platinum because the game, it's a puzzle game, and it kind of is asking you to solve all of the puzzles. It's like a culmination
of puzzles.
Yeah, because like really, what it ends up kind of asking you to do is like, can you fully like complete the languages and sort of thus like translate everything to like get the different layers to communicate with each other, because the game is basically like the Tower of Babel, like a different take on the Tower of Babel. It's like, okay, well, these different people speak different languages. You're like you're trying to get through, but then like maybe you're kind of helping them like low key. And then you're also like, a really cool part of Chance of Sinar, if you're not familiar with it, is like, it's also kind of has this message of the misunderstandings that can form through different languages and cultures. And you're kind of mending those misunderstandings by allowing them to sort of communicate, and in that communication, they realize, hey, you and we're not so different after all. And then, they can kind of like kumbaya together.
They'd be friends.
Yeah. But it is like, it's a really sweet kind of story in some senses, and it's a really cool game. But what did you think of it as a puzzle-minded man? Were you like, oh yeah?
Yeah, to me, it was like that. This is like textbook for me, good platinum, where it's like, I'm already loving this game. I'm already interested in doing all this game has to offer. If you're going to give me a platinum at the end of that, great, cool. Doesn't require another new play. Doesn't require, I could go back and fill the gaps that I missed along the way if there are any. Like, it's a textbook definition good platinum in my mind. So I liked it. Next up, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown. Both got that platinum.
Banger platinum.
Man,
love this platinum.
It was tough.
I don't even know if there's a trophy in here that I didn't like. I'm trying to think if there's anything that... Can you think of any pain points that you had on this one?
I don't think it was so much the trophy as much as just like... It's another one of those games where like you kind of need to do everything to get the platinum. And in doing that, there are just parts of the game that are very challenging, from like a platformer or like twitchy puzzle platform kind of sections and things like that. So nothing that like I think is the platinum's fault or like a trophy's fault, as much as just, man, this was like the clock tower.
Oh yeah, I love that
platforming set. Oh my god, that was so hard. But it was also rewarding once you finally do it and you're like,
nothing's as hard as getting those pants and that one thing that's optional. It has nothing to do with the platinum.
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of needed it to... Really?
100% don't need it.
Man, well...
Because I remember like kind of looking like, do I even need to do this? And the answer is no. And I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, I'm here anyways, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, I wanted to do it. Yeah, I love this. This is like, oh, God, this game is so good. Easily, I think it's still in my top 5 of the year. And I think it'll be pretty high up there. I'm trying to keep it as high as I can while acknowing that like some games
this year? No.
Yeah, this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And this year they shuttered that studio too. Or like, well, I think they technically got moved into something else, right? Because it's through Ubisoft. So yeah, I think they got moved. Like a lot of the people, maybe. Well, now I'm scared that I'm misspeaking. I know if you want to Google it, we can tell the actual information, which is really unfortunate about it. I know there's going to be no sequel, and I forget if they like died or got shoved to something else. I think they might have got shoved to something else because it's Ubisoft and they're huge. So let me know when you see that. But
disbanded the team.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, not cool, but that was the what happened. Yeah. Yeah. Fire game. If you like hard platformers, and what's nice about this game too is it's not purely a hard platformer. Not that I'm against that either. Like I love Celeste. I love a hard platformer, but this game has satisfying and challenging platforming with like really good combat. And like I would say like to beat the game, you don't really have to do that much crazy platforming. It's like more of let me chain some stuff together to like bridge this gap. And that's kind of, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of hard platforming, like there's like a sand area where you're kind of like doing some little like timing stuff. But a lot of the hardest platforming is optional. They kind of have stuff like, again, you think of Celeste and like the strawberries, they have like their own version of that. But like, I think the rewards like lean into each other really well. Like this is like my, even though I like Chance of Sinar also, this is my Chance of Sinar based on what you just said about like the Chance of Sinar platform. Platinum. I love this game. I want more of this game. I only want to play this game. So like getting to have a platinum in this game, it's like absolutely, this game is fantastic. The only thing I didn't like about the platinum is even though the game does have one of the like constructs of the game is you have amulets that can like buff up or in some cases like maybe debuff different elements of your character. So maybe you'll have like, oh, you do like crazy damage, but like you're like one hit from death, like for the real like combat psychos. And then there'll be something else that'll be like, oh, I don't know, you get an extra dash. I'm making it up. I don't remember what the amulets are, but they have one that like kind of helps you find collectibles.
Yeah.
But I kind of still need a little bit more help. I did consult a guide for a few things, mostly because I think this platinum, if memory serves me correct, falls victim of one of like it not having clear tracking of what you've gotten. So like, I think one of the, shoot, do you have to get the pants to get the platinum? I don't think you do. I'm pretty sure you don't. Because I don't think they have one for opening all the chests, but they do have one for, they have layers of collectibleness in the platinum. And in that, you have to backtrack a lot. And I think one of the weakest parts of this game they did patch an update for was the fast travel was very stingy in this game. You had like 4 big areas. And I'm like, and which was crazy because they had spawn points of a bunch of these trees throughout the world. And I'm like, why can't I fast travel tree to tree to tree? That makes so much more sense. Even if you wait later, like I don't mind being like delayed gratification in a Metroidvania. That's what a Metroidvania is all about, like delayed gratification. But I was like shocked that they never gave that. And me and my colleague Patrick joked that like, oh, they must have listened to our podcast. So we're like, because they never thought of that before. I'm sure someone had that concern or whatever on the team. But they did update that. I think there is DLC for this game too. I just haven't dug into it because I'm not a big DLC person. But yeah. Prince of Persia Lost Crown, great platinum. Love this game. And this game also has like a lot of settings as well for whether it's like combat that you want to tool down or platforming issues that you have, which admittedly, I'm not going to lie, I adjusted some of those sliders for like a few of the bosses. Like I do think like for me, the final boss was too hard. I know you're kind of more combat skilled than I am.
My wall came earlier than yours.
Really?
Or later, because it was the arrow guy for me.
Yeah, he gave me some problems too. I think I might have fought.
You can do things
up
in different orders too, so it's like, oh, well, maybe it's just the first kind of boss you fight is the challenging one or something. I don't know. But.
Some stuff is, like some of the combat, I'm like, look, I don't got the sauce, or like I don't feel like gaining the sauce. I'm like, I kind of just want to keep playing the game, but love this game, so good, such a good game. Anyway, we should move on to something else because I'll just keep talking about how good this game is. Other trophies, other platinums. I mean,
another one similar, but I'm actually curious how you feel about this. Cocoon.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how I got this platinum to be honest. Because what do you have to do in that?
It's a pretty easy. It's basically like
it's like just get all the stuff,
the game,
right?
and then you can again. It has a great feature where you could just like load a previous save and just do the things you miss. Along the way.
It's very chapter based.
Very love a platinum like that. Makes it super easy to do cleanup at the end. High rating for me. The game itself is fine and fun. I wasn't looking to do everything in it. There's also not too much stuff you can go out of your way to do. It's like a very linear game.
Yeah.
It's linear, but it's a puzzle game. So like, you still have your own challenge as you're going through it. But so it wasn't really much you could miss, but the things, if you did miss any of them, really easy to do a cleanup at the end.
Yeah, I think and I'm sure I'm missing something, but the main like thing in it was I think encountering these
bosses,
statues kind of.
Like statues or something like that.
Yeah, it's like you sort of like walk up to it and you're like, you kind of give a tip of your hat and then they kind of like do something and then that kind of culminates into other stuff. Yeah, this was fine. It's a very like, it's funny because it's like, it gets like a good grade for me, but it's not like exciting, but it's also not like annoying. So I'm like, you know what? And it's a generally kind of smaller, shorter game compared to these other ones we're naming. So I feel like there's no need to, you're a short game. Like you don't need to expand your platinum to be like something crazy. Like, it's like the little things, very straightforward. Yeah. Solid platinum. I mean, I think I had my own challenges like in the game, like with some of the puzzles, but it's also a pretty straightforward puzzle game. Like it's definitely a good puzzle game if you're not that good at puzzle games where it's like, oh, you'll be a little bit, you'll be a bit more challenged, and like the sickos would be like, I want it to be even harder. And it's like, I was fine with how hard it was. Like it kind of ramped up.
Yep.
It almost kind of like, I kind of started struggling and then they were like, we're done. And I'm like, you know what? That's good enough for me because I don't want to think too much more than what Jed would think. And it looks really cool and the sound design's awesome. Boss is a little annoying in that game because you're one hit away from death at all times, which is, I think, a mistake for a lot of games to make you a one-hit death when you're not a combat game either. So I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, why is it so serious? Like, I don't know. Let's see. Jumping around. What about Escape Academy, I think would be to touch on.
I would say before we jump into the co-op ones, let's lump together these last two.
Okay, sure.
Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Horizon Forbidden West. I feel like these are both very comparable platinums.
Yep.
Same idea across both games. It's beat the game and then double back and do the cleanup.
Yep.
You're currently working through the Miles Morales platinum, which is funny that you have the Spider-Man 1 platinum, I think.
I don't think I do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe I do. I don't remember.
I thought you did, but
maybe I do.
You have
I don't. It's not on this list, so I don't.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. So you have the Spider-Man 2 platinum, but you're working through Miles Morales to get the platinum for that. How do you feel about the comparison of those two? You also have the Horizon 1 platinum and Horizon 2. So like, do you feel they're all comparable? Like in my head, these are all similar ideas where it's you beat the game and then there's like this, if you didn't do the side missions, you do go back and do side missions and then you'll get the platinum kind of thing.
The Marvel Spider-Man 2, I'm fine with an easy platinum, so I'm never going to complain that's too easy. But I do think it's almost like an overcorrection to the other ones where they're like, we heard you that you didn't want to do work, so now you don't have to do anything. And I'm like, and personally, I'm always a fan of not doing anything. So I'm like, hey, like you could just hand me my platinum, I'll be on my way out. But Miles Morales, like it is like so nitpicky with like the thing about, and Spider-Man 2 has this a little bit, but maybe I just used more of the abilities in Spider-Man 2 than I did in Miles Morales. Like Miles Morales has so much going on that it'll be like, and they'll have you like do such specific things like, okay, do these takedowns this many times. Like it's a lot of like little granular things to do. And it's a lot of like, do this without getting caught. Do 8 types of, like they just have like it's like too many checklists kind of. And then Spider-Man 2 is almost like, I wouldn't say not enough because again, I don't want more. But I think if you're someone who desires a more interesting platinum, you might be like, man, they didn't really push me into like something more, intriguing. And I think that's the only like con of Spider-Man 2. And then for Horizon versus Horizon, this one was better just because it was like a little bit easier to do. The thing that I really struggled with in Horizon 1 was finding the power cells to get the super suit, basically.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't know how anyone fucking finds those on their own. Dude, like, shout out to the guide writers, because I just looked up a guide. I'm like, I don't know how to get these.
Yeah.
So and that's one of my beefs too with games. I think not providing more trackable supports for collectibles is a mistake in games because it will just turn you to a guide. Not that a guide is a bad way to play a game, but I feel like as a designer, you should write in some additional supports for players who desire supports and, allow you to not use those supports if you don't want those supports. So yeah, that's my only beef with like Horizon 1. I will say that reward is really sweet though. Like that suit is awesome.
Yeah.
And getting to have that suit before like the final battles make everything so nice.
Very nice.
And Horizon 2 doesn't have like anything as cool as that. And I think that's a little bit of a bummer for me. But yeah, Horizon, like I'm a Horizon sicko. So like I don't just get the platinum in the game. I get it my way. That's like how you know I'm into a game when I'm like, I want to do it on my terms. So like trophies that are like max up a piece of armor, I'm doing that with like an armor I really want and like. Like I could just do that with like a green uncommon common level 1, 2 seconds, get 8 antlers together and add a battery pack and you're done. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna go with like the crazy armor. Yeah. I'm gonna get the Apex like snake robot heart, and then I'm gonna, take it to the mountains and dye it, and then I'm gonna like hand stitch it back into the fabric. Like, and then I also will do stuff that I don't even need to do. Like I spent a long time cleaning up the map fog. I'm like, I want to clean
cleaning up map fog.
Yes.
So I didn't realize that when
it's so good. Yeah.
When we first started gaming together, I didn't realize that. But now it's starting to make it so you love cleaning up map fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perfect game for Jay. Give a trophy for cleaning up map fog.
Yeah. Cleaning up map fog. It's like, do you remember like as a kid, like if you put down like, y'all have that like plastic on like the tables ever? It's like, oh, I want to protect the table. And you put like a piece of plastic on it. Yeah.
We've done like couches.
Okay,
like,
so I don't know. I'm sure there's other things like, but it's like okay, you know when you put a screen protector on and you fuck it up and it has those bubbles?
Yeah.
And you move the bubble around to the edge.
Okay.
That's what I feel when I'm cleaning up the fog.
Clean up the map fog. Okay.
But imagine like if you could move the bubble to the edge and it really was gone forever.
Okay.
Like imagine that. Like
right.
That's how I feel. And one of the cons of this game is that you actually cannot clean up the map fog completely because they fog an area that is only available at the very end of the game. And even at the end of the game, you can't really go there. It's like, it's not even really a spoiler, but there's just like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a section, not appears, but like, I don't know, that it's almost there as like set dressing in the background. So it's not travelable, like the invisible wall hits. And it's the only part of the map that isn't clean. And I'm like, damn L game, you know, went on Steam and was like, this game fucking sucks, you know, whatever. But yeah, I also had COVID during the time when I was working on this platinum, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm not doing anything else. This is great. I don't have to think. I can get on my bird. Spoilers for the game. You can fly on the bird at some point. I get on my bird and I just fly. You know, I put on Stevie Wonder, Don't You Worry About a Thing, and I just go.
You're just going across the
I'm flying
lands.
over the monkeys and the tarantula. There's no tarantulas in the game, but you know, like
Yeah, like
the
little crab things.
the robot crabs and the robot monkeys and the robot horses and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just flying through the fog, you know? And it's great. And I have a great time doing that.
Cool. I think that leads us then to the like co-op platinums, which we have a handful of these. I'll run through them, and then if any that jump out you want to dive deeper into, by all means.
Sure.
We have Overcooked, All You Can Eat,
Which I believe
Shout
we
out to
talked about
Overcooked.
before
I think
on
we've
the
talked
show.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Operation Tango, Escape Academy. We Were Here Too. I think the first We Were Here either didn't have co-op or just didn't have a platinum or something. I don't know why we don't have
co-op, but maybe we played it on PC. Is that possible?
it. I don't think so.
Yeah, I know we played it though, and I'm pretty sure we would have gotten the platinum.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it was one of those ones where you need to like play through it again as like and make the opposite decisions to everything.
But I
you know
think
what
we
I mean?
did that too.
I know we did that for We Were Here Too. Anyways.
It's not on here.
Yeah.
We did play it
At the end of
together
the day.
and we did a lot of stuff.
But yeah, I these all kind of lumped together. Really, the three of these four were lumped together as like co-op escape room games, which are very fun. This is a genre for us that I didn't think we would like, but I think we do really like.
What do you mean by that? I didn't think we would like.
I didn't think would like gel with us as far as just like the kind of co-op
Well,
game
really
we gravitate towards.
You're leaning
you know?
into like the apartment meme we have of like we are one because of the engagement. It's like, you know, we might not enjoy this game for reasons between the two of us. You know, yeah. I think. I think to your point, obviously, like memes aside, we are. You know, I do think you're more skilled at puzzle games than I am. So I think with something like a co-op escape room, there's a little bit of that worry of, well, I don't know, you're out there like puzzle Michelangelo and I'm like there in a box of crayons, like just kind of wondering what's going on. But I think all those puzzle games, they're very like, I think what's great about these styles of games is it's very rare for them to solely require somebody to just be good at like a puzzle.
Yes.
They are very much more like literally cooperative puzzles. So it's honestly like they're more so communication games than I think puzzle games. Like, you know, when we talked about last episode, Exit, that's a game where like we're both working on solving a puzzle.
Yes.
This is more like as we work individually, the culmination is a puzzle solution. Because pretty much both of these games involve relaying information. Like they're because what is it? Operation Tango, Escape Academy, and then all of them are what you see on your. They're like not split screen. They're like separate screen games.
Yeah.
So everything that you're doing, like you often have to relay back to your partner.
Yes.
So it's like pretty simple in that sense. Like I don't know if there's even any like puzzles that we like weren't able to solve. Honestly,
No. I think every single one we played it just ourselves, no guide, no anything. We were able to come to a solution and beat all of them. And
even Escape Academy, we accidentally found the solution to one where I couldn't understand what was going on. It was like some weird like information highway kind of thing. Like you were like hacking into something and I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
And then we like figured like it was clear when you did. You're like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. You know?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other fun thing about these games too. Like usually the platinum involves like flipping roles, which on one hand, it's boring to solve the same thing again, but it is fun to see, okay, what did the other person see? And it's like, oh, like when you said like, it looks like a man with a hat. Okay, yeah, this is the man with the hat symbol that you were talking about. So I think they're super fun. Yeah, We Were Here was dope. We Were Here 2 is dope. What's the one that we didn't like? We Were Here Forever, right?
Yeah, I think the third one. So,
which was weird. And the problem with that game too was that it kind of went away from what we were enjoying, which is like the relaying of information, and it kind of did become more, okay, like Isaiah, you got to figure this out. And like I think the worst part in games like this is if there's too much downtime for the other player. And one of the We Were Here games felt like it was a very downtimey kind of game. So we'll see. We Were Here Together is the one that we started playing because we
didn't finish
that one. We were not into. I think we should still try We Were Here Forever because maybe they went back to like the formula we did like.
Sure.
But yeah, I love these games. So fun. I recommend all the ones that you listed. I think they're all like pretty good. Yeah, it's a fun genre. I like this style a lot. I think Escape Academy 2, if I remember correctly, had the fun of like also a little bit of story to it of like, ooh, what's going on with the drama at the
like
escape
murder
school.
mystery a little bit, you know. That was pretty good. I love it. The Operation Tango also had like a story element to it. Not, you know, really deep. We Were Here is like at one end of the spectrum where there's like almost zero story. Yeah. It's just like escape.
One thing that's really funny though is there's like I think at the end of spoilers for We Were Here, it's like not that crazy, but at the end of I don't know if it was the first game or second game, you can like leave the other person behind. And then there's like there's like a trophy I think for like, oh, how do you escape with both people together? And I think that's also really fun. It's just like a fun like vibe. Like I like We Were Here because it's like, I don't know, it just gives like so legit. Like, oh, you're lost in a wasteland, you stumble upon this like area and you're kind of trying to figure out how to like survive. They're just like really nice games. I think they're like one of the, I don't want to say earliest because I don't know what the originator of this format was, but the idea of like an in-game like walkie-talkie I think is really fun. You know, you see that a lot with games like Lethal Company, like that's like more proximity chat, but the idea of like that being part of the mechanic I think is really cool because I have that muffled sound and just nothing but good things to say about those. Again, cannot stand with We Were Here Together. I don't know what went down but that one, the first two are really fun. Cool. Anything else you want to shout out for platinums that maybe some of the hits that I didn't get that you just want to quickly highlight before we move on?
Sure. For me, some of the ones that I have that I don't think you have, I'll just shout out three really, really quick and easy ones. One, Animal Well. I love that game. It's a great puzzle game. If you're into it, the work to get the platinum is just look up a guide and you'll be fine. Some of the stuff is just very abstract and there's no way you're going to do it on your own. But if you look up a guide, easy enough to do it. No problem there. Then we have God of War. Fun platinum.
I really want to get that one.
Just like all the other Sony first party ones, it's like basically it's just beat the game and you can double back. But I'm already interested in doing all this game has to offer, so the platinum, tacking it on at the end, easy. And then I'm gonna give a shout out to one that I think has since been patched and is no longer one that I recommend. Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah,
this is a platinum I got when the game first launched. Before whatever patch that fixed it, there's a difficulty trophy to it, but it's in the original launch version, you could basically just like load up to the end of the game, switch your difficulty, and then just like roll the credits, and it would count as you beating it on the difficult, like the hardest difficulty. That's how I did it. Or like there's some like jank bug that lets you like jump to the end of the game or something like that. That's how I did it. There's no way, and I don't even recommend you playing this game on the hardest difficulty to get the trophies. The game is just stupid hard on the hardest difficulty and just not fun.
The game
I just didn't recommend
is stupid hard on the normal.
It is really, it's stupid hard on normal difficulty.
You know, obviously everyone's different skills, different challenges, whatever. But like, I know people that do, you know, the hardcore combat, the soul stuff, the twitchy stuff, and they're like, this shit was hard as fuck. Like, the final boss of that game on normal difficulty is one of the most insane things I've seen in my life. So the idea of that on a harder difficulty, no, I had to knock it down to easy specifically for that final boss. But I do think on normal difficulty, it's mostly a good challenge, but it is definitely a challenge, like, which is crazy because the game does not like look like, not to stereotype games, but it does not look like it'd be hard because it looks kind of, more in that kind of cutesy. It kind of gives like aesthetically, it looks like, oh, this is like Jack and Daxter vibes, like OG Ratchet Clank, like not mechanically because it's not exactly a platformer, but it's like, oh, it's like a little adventure. So you don't associate hardcore combat with those games. Like that's just not the style of games they are. So it's like, it's really crazy, but I do still recommend that game. It's a bit flawed, but it's like, I think really fun. And it definitely feels like, in a non-negative way, it does feel like a really dope PS2 game.
Yeah.
And I think if you love that style of game design, like you're gonna like really love your time with Kana largely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like crazy. It's funny that you have that. I didn't feel like doing the exploits. I was like,
no, that's fair.
And you still have to get those little guys too. I didn't want to look for them and their hats and shit. So.
What about you? Any
final
exclusive
nods?
ones that you have that you really liked?
Chicory. You guys know I fucking love Chicory. I think that that's another game where I love it so much. I'm playing my own game when I'm playing Chicory. The painting, the art I was doing in Chicory was insane. I was fucking there. I was Michelangelo. I was doing these great paintings. I felt so like skilled and creative, and it was so fun. Yeah, I love to paint, love to explore. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. It's a great platinum.
Is it like just kind of collect everything kind of platinum?
Yeah, it's pretty much just collect everything. I don't remember too much else about it. It's been a while, but like it's just kind of clean up, finish up what you have going on. You don't have to do like, again, everything in the game is a completionist style. So like with the paintings, like you'll have to do all the paintings. But again, the paintings, you can't just do them. I think that's what's cool about the game too. It's like you don't need to be doing these crazy art pieces. You can just like put a stick on there and then they're like, interesting that you just put a stick on there and then you just keep going. But I really like cared about my craftsmanship, so I was like slowly drawing a dog, with the fucking PlayStation controller.
Coloring in the lines.
Yeah, wow. It was so fun. I love that game. So that's probably like my biggest shout out. I'm quickly glancing at other ones I have on here. Y'all already know I love Jack and Daxter, so of course I have that one. Honestly, a pretty decent platinum. That one's clean cut. Straightforward as hell. OG days of platinuming where it's like just do everything, get all the stuff. Which getting everything is pretty easy in that game. The orbs are a little hard because there's like it's just very specific to like get all of them. And I think the hardest part about that, and a lot of platinums can fall victim to this, is like again not a way to track, no way to really know. Like so when you look up a guide, you're like,
that one's really
did
tough.
I get the one in the snow? Like you kind of have to like it's not an easy way to clean up. And I think Prince of Persia falls victim to that too. Like oh, you did 80% of it and you don't know where the last 20% is. I think Jack and Daxter can fall victim to that for sure. But they do count how many you have per area. It says like, X out of X number. But it's like, where are the last 6 in the spider cave? I know, like, you don't know. You don't know. And it's like, it's impossible to find out. Yeah. But those are my only like big shout outs. That's almost all. Life is Strange was my last one, I guess. Because it's the last one I have on here, my 15. So yeah, it was fun. Easy enough. Quick to go back to. Like you could chapter jump and just pick up the stuff. True Colors. Yeah, because there's like a million Life is Strange. It's True Colors is the one I got the platinum in. And yeah, for that I like it's quick cleanup. I don't want to replay the whole game. I don't want to make different decisions. I don't want to. I just want to like. To me, with the platinum, I like having the platinum as like, hey, this is me like showing my appreciation for the game. Like it's getting added to the mantle. So I don't want to spend a lot of time necessarily doing that.
Yeah.
Especially with stuff I already did. That's why I don't like the New Game Plus. It's like I don't want to like play it again, but make all this. No, I want to just enjoy. More of what I have. It's like, do you want to throw up and then eat the food again? No, I fucking don't want to do that. That sounds disgusting. I don't want to do that. When they tell me to do New Game Plus, that's what I feel like I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll see you in 30 years when I finish the Miles Morales Platinum that I'm slowly working on my stream.
All right.
And now for the not game section, let's talk about our library time and where we like to work when we're working in the apartment.
Yeah. So we both work from home, right? Great. Love it. Very fortunate to be able to do that. Right. We're both freelance now. But even though we did a lot of work, making this nice studio. We rearranged the apartment to kind of like facilitate for shows like this and recordings and streams and everything like that. There's still times where we just both need to like really buckle down, maybe throw on some headphones, some music, and get some work done, whether it's you writing, whether it's me coding or doing design, right? How we found a good way to do that is sometimes we just go to the library, local library. And I think we talked about the library before on this show, at least like in passing of like, oh yeah, we go there. We've done an episode from the library, or at least did our
pictures,
thumbnail
thumbnail
was at the library, right? We talk about the library. Love it. And I think more than before, it's becoming kind of our I'm locking in.
Yeah.
Let's go to the library. You got to get some shit done.
A lock-in safe haven. We were doing a really good job at going once a week. We've kind of dialed back on that, which I think is fair because we are kind of constantly also negotiating working more with working less. Like they're both kind of at odds with each other, where sometimes the weekend's like, oh, it's a great time to get some work done. It's also like, well, it's the only time we could just also not work. So we sort of have gone back and forth on that, and we've kind of just been going to the library a little bit more randomly. Like the other day I was like, hey, would you be down to go to the library for like 2 hours or something? And we just dipped over and did that. And yeah, it's been awesome. It's funny because it's like it's such like the library as a concept has existed for a really long time societally, so it feels weird to be like, so here's what the library is. But I mean, like I think obviously different libraries look different ways in different places. I showed you the OG library of when I was a little kid.
Yeah, we went to Chicago.
That library, and not gonna lie, it don't hit as nice as our library. Like it don't got as many tables. It's like kind of the vibes don't feel quite as good. And I also showed you Chicago, our downtown library, which is like really big, really cool.
Nice. What's his name? The
Harold Washington Library.
I was gonna say John Carpenter. Like that's not right.
No, the Harold Washington Library. Yeah, there's lots of floors, like everything you could need. It's awesome. You can practice rooms for instruments. Wild. I'm sure LA has like super souped up libraries as well. We're just going to our local one. So, which as far as local, better than some other people's. As far as like high end, maybe not as high end as it, as maybe some of the banger libraries of the LA County area. But yeah, there's like, lots of tables to work from. My favorite is we have some of those like, I call them college desks. Like when you go to like a college library, you'll have like those desks that have the risers, or like even in your dorm.
Like little segmented, like isolated pods almost.
Yeah, they have like the toppers that like, I know my dorm had those where it's like, oh, you can put the topper on the desk, or you could like use the desk and the topper to like elevate your bed if you wanted to. Like that was the other thing people did. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to die underneath that little hole. I just give me the topper on the desk. But I like that a lot too. You can kind of like set up your little station, lots of outlets. Yep. The classic things you look for in a workspace. And part of this came about because I love working from like coffee shops. But I haven't really found like as many like good work coffee shops in our area. Like I'm sure we need to just look a little bit more. But sometimes it's like, what'd you think? I didn't really like the pastry I had there, or it's not really as many outlets there, or the table was wobbly, or it was like, it's hard to get a seat. Like there's like different problems that can arise from that. And then also like inherently it costs money to do that. Like not a lot of money, but you need to at least get like a coffee, ideally maybe a coffee and like a treat or something. And just to kind of support the business that's like providing the space. I feel like it's just polite to, if you're going to an establishment that sells, food and drink, you probably should at least buy a food and drink, even if it's just like same thing with a bar. If you go see a show at a bar, at least get a drink, like
a pop or something,
a soda. Like you got to get something. You can't just like show up and be like, well, technically, I don't need to buy anything. It's like you should buy something. So the library also came about as what we could do is just put a thermos of coffee and just go to the library. It's basically a coffee shop. Yeah. And honestly, it really I also really like the silence of the library. Yeah. Like sometimes I don't even have headphones on, and it's just like, it's gonna be quiet, and it's just like you in a new context. You're not in your house. You can't, get distracted by anything. Sometimes I think with a workspace, like the inconveniences can help push you into a more worky setting. Like, okay, I can't, throw a laundry in the thing. I can still use the bathroom, but it's not as comfortable as using my bathroom. I'm not gonna linger and loiter as much as I would in like my bathroom, maybe.
Also, I'm gonna be honest, I hate pooping in public bathrooms. I hate it. I'll just hold it. My body knows I just wait until I get home. I'll pee in the library, but I just can't.
I mean, not to like make this like a gross episode of like where are you shitting at, but it's like I just live my life and like you know
I can't.
If I'm like sick or something, yeah, I want to be at
sure,
home.
If I have to, yes, I'm not gonna shit myself to avoid it. But I don't know something. All I'm saying is that it's a extra incentive to like focus. Yeah, focus on the work.
You gain time back because you're not taking a shit at the library.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's I just said it doesn't apply to me as much, but like I get it. You're locked in. That's the point. You're not going to be like putzing around in the library as much. And then also you can get like little work rooms. Like ours has a couple little rooms that you can sign out for. That's also nice. Where it's like if I do, we hosted our it was just the two of us, but like we hosted our like meeting, the start of the year meeting that we had. Was in the library, the whiteboard and the little markers. It's just a fun.
That was nice. Different
vibe, and it's free.
That's coming up again.
I know haters might say it's totally not free because you pay taxes. It's free. You know, like let's come on now. It's like okay, Netflix is free. Like we can't say anything is free now. Yeah, it's free. The library's available for all to use through our paying of taxes. You know.
Well, it's free to people who don't pay taxes, so that means it's really free.
That's true. Yeah, like you don't. They're not going to check you at the door about the everyone's welcome at the library. It's communal space. There you go. Yeah, and it's been cool for the other of course amenities of the library. Got the books, the DVDs. We've gotten a lot of DVDs, and Blu-rays from the library. So nothing but good things to say.
I'm always on the internet, and I need the internet for most, if not all, of my work to some degree. The internet in the library is really good. Yeah. Also, like it's never gone down. It's never been slow. Like it's hitting at least 200 down, maybe like 30 up on the normal. Like I can definitely work with that. I'm not saying we should like go streaming from the library or anything like that. But like if you edited a video and you needed to like upload something really quick, you can totally do that at our library and like it'd be fine. So like you can get work done the same way you could at home, just a more focused sort of like contextual isolation kind of thing.
I also like it because there's an end to us being at the library.
That's true. It closes.
I think the struggle of work from home in part is that like there's never an end. Yeah. Like I guess at a certain point you give up. Yeah. Or you stop. Like, that's kind of the feeling. It's just sort of uncapped. Like the last time when I asked you at the library, I really needed it because I'm like, I just don't want to write anymore. And I'm not interested in writing and I can't focus. And I didn't even have any work to procrastinate with. I'm like, the emails I was caught up on my emails. My chores were pretty good. I had eaten already. And I'm like, I just don't want to do it. So like, I think too, just the power of, getting ready to go somewhere and feeling like you're doing something. I think that's the thing. I think going to the library can kickstart momentum because it's like, cool, I'm going to like change up my environment, but I'm also going to like put on a real outfit, not that you can't wear sweatpants at the library, but I like for me, I changed what I was wearing, like for my house clothes or whatever, to something like a little bit more outdoor oriented. Had my sweater ready to go in case it was cold. Got there, packed my bag. It's like, at home I'm not packing a bag to get ready for work. I'm kind of just like sliding items over or bringing things around. So it also just like it changes your mindset of like I'm getting ready for work. And getting ready for work is like a thing you get to do. And then you go outside and it's like, okay, well, we're building momentum. And then at the library, it's like, you can dick around at the library, but it's like, what do we do? We're hanging out on Twitter at the library. It's like, well, you could just be at home. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's not like
you don't want to waste the trip there.
Exactly. And like, it's not like I don't tab over ever to like some socials, but ultimately like it's so what you're there for that it's like really, really helps. What about you when you're not at the library? You have your zones? We kind of both cat around the apartment. Where are you stopping by when you're working?
I'm a pretty big, just like kitchen table kind of worker.
I also love the kitchen table.
We talked about this before. We have the gaming table. That's like our kind of kitchen table that we just keep the top on whenever we're not playing a game. Shout out that gaming table. She's so good. Like table. But because it's always like sort of available at a moment's notice, it's very easy to just like move things around so you get a nice little space. It's a sizable table, so I can have like my laptop, my iPad. I'll do like a dual screen setup. Maybe if something's interesting going on, like a game or a stream or something, I'll throw that on the living room TV so I have it in the background. But then I'm also just locking in on the kitchen table. Maybe I'll put some headphones on, play some music or a podcast or something. But most of the time, I'm just kind of like chilling there. Maybe throw on some like I don't know, I forget what you call it. It's not necessarily electronic music, like lo-fi, where it's just like kind of audio music, not necessarily like vocals or lyrics to it. To just really get in. And if I really want to go next level on the living room TV, I'll pull up YouTube and do like coffee shop sounds.
Yeah.
And that really brings it all together for like that real at home coffee shop experience. So yeah, if I'm home, kitchen table is kind of first choice. Sometimes I'll work here in the studio. I've done it before. I'm not in love with it only because the studio is so set up for content that even when I want to work in here, it's kind of like, well, all right, I guess I'll sit in this chair and have, one of these lights on or something. You know what I mean?
You're a big like lap person for work. Like you'll work on your like laptop. Like you're like, it's a laptop. It's on my lap.
Yeah. Again, if I could have, and they have like these extension things you can buy for my laptop, if I can just get like that extra screen off to the side, they sell like these like attachable screens you can do. And they like fold back behind and stuff like that. I could just work on my lap anywhere and everywhere. That to me, this is comfortable. It's here. The keyboard's right at my fingertips. It's the screen's right in my face. It's great.
I don't really like it. I need like to I feel like big ideas, many screens, many things. Like I like a more traditional setup. I will say too, something that I am, earlier in this show, I'd mentioned like there's nothing more annoying, but one of the annoyances is like when you know something, you're right. And then like 8 years later, the person's like, you know what you were right about? And it's like, yeah, I did know. You know what you were right about, Isaiah? I'm so embarrassed. That little thing I bought at Staples that lifts the laptop up.
Oh, yeah.
Bro,
the thing you don't use?
I don't need that. It was like $50 and I don't ever use it. I thought because I'm big into ergonomics and I'm like, well, if I'm working on the table, maybe I'll be like, I'll lift the laptop up and I'll have like the wireless keyboard and I'll have like the mouse. And like I did that like once and it was okay. But honestly, like I'll just go with the bit. Like I think the thing is I bought that too early into our new setup, thinking that it would solve a problem that I hadn't encountered yet. Like I wanted to get ahead of the problem.
Yeah,
that problem doesn't exist. Like there's almost never a time where I want to work at our big desk and you're working on there. That basically never happens because I just can do other things or whatever. It's rare for me to find time to even work. So it's like, want to work on like something where I'm like writing a lot.
Yeah.
Because on an email front, I can do that very easily on my laptop, write notes, plan things out. When it comes to like writing an article, I can just do it on my laptop or I can just sit there. It's like, I don't need that little riser.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it to Edwin or something because I don't really use it. Like, but it was $50. So I'm like, maybe I should just keep it. But it's like, I was just sitting there.
I think we should keep it because I've used it before. Like I've had like meetings with clients that I'll take in the kitchen.
At least someone's using it.
I'll put my laptop on it to raise it so that it's like a little bit more eye level.
Yeah,
and
that's
not
good.
Like looking at like my under chin.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
webcam.
well at least it's getting some use because it's like that thing was an L. I shouldn't have gotten that. But yeah, I like the traditional desk for basically anything that's like. Well, I like it for writing sometimes just because like a bigger screen. I can kind of just like maybe I can pull up more tabs if I'm comparing things or
we
pulling
have
up
the
other
3
lists.
monitors, which is also nice.
Yeah, the 3 monitors is I think that's the key. I've had 4 before. 4 you don't need 4.
4 is a lot.
The 4th one ends up just being like Spotify, which is fine. Like you use it, but like it's not needed. I think the best is 3. Back in the day, I had the top one above the middle and then one the side vertical orientation. Now we have 3 straight across. I like all of them. They're all nice for different things. But when I'm doing something like editing a video, that needs to be on there. I cannot do that on my laptop. If I'm making a thumbnail, I prefer doing that on a computer where I have more mouse control than the trackpad.
Sure.
And same with like, I guess those are like my big things. Like kind of actually like getting something done. It's like that's a computer thing. Emails and like quick writing that can be done on my laptop. The other day I was writing in our bed, which is rare. I don't really do that.
Really?
Remember you caught me writing that Life is Strange article?
Yeah, that was
I was
funny.
losing my mind because I'm just like, yeah, like I kind of just wanted to get away from everything. Like I didn't want to set up on the table. We were kind of getting ready for bed already. So I'm like, let me just grab my laptop, write some stuff. Super useful. And in a pinch too, since I have the unlimited data, I can tether to my phone. Like I did that on the way to the doctor's office. I'm like, I just want to set up some stuff on the CMS, tether to my phone. I'm in the passenger seat. I can just kind of, granted we crashed. The laptop's like going to be in my chest or something. But, we crashed. We have other problems anyway. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm also big on the kitchen table. But the thing about the kitchen table is like our table sometimes falls victim to being a dumping ground for garbage.
Yeah.
But it's kind of every surface in an apartment. So I'm kind of just like, that's also why I'm trying to move towards like getting us to have less things. I'm like, we got a lot of little things that I'm like slowly, but I've also reeled in. We need to come back and do an episode on like my psychotic cleaning sprees, because I have dialed back a lot and it's tough. It's been tough to let go, but I've like, I'll let go more. I think my life's a little better for it, but I am like kind of like, I'm itching to get back to my toxic organization. I would love to do some big end of year organizational things leading into the new year. You know, I love my new year, my fresh starts. So excited. But yeah, I think that's basically our workflow. Is there any, I guess to put a bow on it, is there anything that you're craving work wise, like for a space? Like, I know before you were definitely like team, get an office outside. Like, do you feel like we don't go out enough to work? What's your energy for getting stuff done?
I think that honestly, the biggest thing for me is just like locking in on a schedule more than anything.
Yep.
This past week, I've tried to be better at like during traditional office like work hours, I work, and then, you know, I'm not relaxing or playing games or you know, doing errands or chores or anything like that. The
errands and chores are the hardest thing not to do during
it's
work
so
hours.
hard. I try to like, I've been trying to get better at just like, hey, between, you know, 10 to 4, give myself a little leeway room, right? I don't commute, so I get that hour back. You know, between like a 10 and 4, I'm sitting down somewhere, I'm working, I'm focusing. It's been really helpful when you stream to just like work while you stream.
I know. I'm jealous that you need, you know what you need? You really do need those hours, because then I can do that for you. Work while you work. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Because that's the thing I feel like I'm missing too. Like, I don't have a easy like, oh, I'm going to use this time to work.
Yeah.
Like an easy body doubling kind of situation.
Yeah.
While you could just, I'm like, if you just work while I stream, that's like easy. You're getting like 8 hours a week into doing something.
Yeah. Free.
Yeah.
Free,
like
more than 8. It's like,
well, specifically my stream. If you count podcasting too, I podcast.
You stream your shows. Anytime you are on
3,
camera.
4, 5, 6. On a heavy week, I'm podcasting.
Easy 16 hours for me.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a week. So then you add in 8 hours. What is that? It's 15 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I have like, on a busy week, I have minimum like 15 hours of content. Sometimes I have more because I might do an extra stream with like remap or something.
Yeah.
Which is both more and less hours than I thought. I do feel like if we think of the 40-hour work week, it's like, okay, I still have a good amount of hours. That's like a part-time job. Where's that other half going?
Yeah.
And I'm like, like, you know, and I do think I fall into a lot of the, okay, I just like, let me like clean up real quick. And then by the time you clean up, you're like, is anyone else ready for lunch? I am. And then by the time you eat lunch, you're like, only a little bit more time until we have dinner. And then, you know, it's so easy for it to get away. I am going to try to, you know, maybe it's something that outside of the podcast we figure out for our meeting and stuff, but I need to go back to like what Gilkey taught us, which we talked about, I think episode like 3 or something like that, because his thing with the like, you need X amount of focus blocks. I think it's like 3 to keep a project moving. I've fallen off of that like a long time ago, and like, and my project's not moving. It's like my articles have like dipped down a lot in terms of the amount I put out a month. So I'm like, okay, I have to go back to Gilkey and then go back to my calendar and like add stuff back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
Because what happens is, you know what happens? And I had this problem with waking up for a while too.
Maybe we need to bring the library every week back.
I think we do, but maybe not on Sundays or Saturdays, you know, because we had it on the weekend. I think the weekend's a good option, but I don't think it should be a fixture as much. I don't think it works as well as a fixture. But yeah, well, I think we do need to like look into it, like bringing it back, or just like, I think individually, maybe this for our next like meeting of like, oh, we figure out what we eat and shit. We figure out like what our individual schedules look like, because it's tough too, because I think what's hard is the beauty of freelance is that you have flexibility, because sometimes forcing stuff doesn't produce your best work, but also sometimes you do need to force yourself to work. So I think the challenge is like, how do we want to negotiate that? Do we want to just say, I'm making it up, right? Tuesday mornings, no matter what, or you know, whatever day, no matter what, we're going? Or do we like not want that because that's too much pressure? It's like it's a hard push and pull between like a schedule and like a schedule becoming like a negative fixation. Because that was like me with like, you know, we talk about our cleaning stuff where you're like, instead of trying to like mop every like 18 days. Why don't you just mop when we need to mop? And I'm like, because then I don't mop. And then, when do we mop? And then it's like, you're like, okay, so what? The world doesn't end if you don't mop this week. And I'm like, yeah, the world doesn't end, but the world isn't as good as it could be. And I want the world to be good. So I don't know. It's tough. We'll have to figure that out. But we're cracked the code. So what happens to me, what I was saying was same thing as alarms. Like sometimes you set like alarms to wake up and then there's like 3 that you don't even register. And then you kind of train your brain to be like, I don't actually like respond to these alarms by waking up. The same thing happens for my calendar where sometimes I'll put something in my calendar that is like, it's for me to know to do. It's like, oh yeah, like today I got to promote the podcast. And it's like, it's in the calendar. It's like, yeah, but I just look at it and
but
I
you
say,
don't do it then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happens to me a lot. Like I felt like for a while I was overstuffing my calendar. And that was my problem with like planning out stuff where you're like, why are you meticulously writing? Like, and at 3 p.m. I do this. And at 4 p.m. So there's like somewhere in between is where we need to be. And we just have to figure out how to get to that in between spot. But we'll get it together.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get it better than it is. All right. Shifting gears to something a little more fun. You had this idea.
Yeah.
Of what you introduced this idea? The draft trios.
We're doing a draft between us. The draft category is best trios.
Okay.
So I figure we could do a snake draft.
Okay.
You can go first. Or I can go first. I'll let you choose. If you don't want to go first, you want to get an idea, I'll go first of what I mean.
I can go first.
Okay. All right. Well, have you go first, and then I'll do twice, and you do. We snake back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a 5 team draft.
Yeah.
We're drafting 5. I brought extras just in case you take some of mine.
I might have brought some extras as well. Yeah, I have some extras.
And I think we're good to go though. So let's hear it.
I'm like nervous. Okay. All right. My first trio that I'm drafting: Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. I know haters might say, well, it's really just Jordan, but I think anyone that actually knows it really was a team. He takes a team to do things. And also sidebar, Dennis Rodman, wild dude. So fun.
Very wild.
He's dyeing his hair.
Very
He's wearing
wild.
a wedding dress,
Yeah.
marrying himself. And I think too, fashion wise, this has nothing to do with basketball, but fashion wise, Dennis Rodman was so ahead of his time. Look at his fits.
Oh yeah.
We are pulling that shit now.
Yeah.
And shout out to Scotty. Like I don't have as much to say about Scotty. And then Michael Jordan kind of speaks for himself, right? He's Jordan. Old heads are still bringing up Jordan, LeBron, whatever. And I'm not looking to unpack that necessarily, but Jordan is like one of the most like iconic basketball players and athletes of all time. And I feel like a lot of times when you have that superstar and that superstar is in a trio, the other people are just like kind of automatically whackened by that. It's like they're just made to look weaker. But I think even with that reality, Scotty and Dennis Rodman still have a bit of shine to them. Again, when we looked at the documentary The Last Dance, we weren't just looking at Jordan, we're looking at 90s Bulls. It's about like the organization, the vibe, and all of that. So I think that is my first trio pick. I think it's one of the greatest, most iconic, coolest trios of all time. Chicago bias acknowledged because I am from Chicago, but
Strong start.
thank you.
For mine,
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Okay.
I'm coming. Are you ready?
Yes.
My first trio: TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross.
Wow.
Coming hot out the
I
gate.
never thought to do this. This is cultural appropriation for you to name this to me. This is my people. That's more me than the Chicago poll. Tell me about Marshalls, TJ Maxx, and Ross.
TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross. Really, I mean, I don't know. Can you limit them? Can you really put them in the box of just clothes? I think they're all primarily clothes stores, but they also sell home goods. They also sell, you can get a picture, you can get a painting, you can get a vase, you can get luggage, you can get almost anything you need in the house at a TJ Maxx, a Marshalls, or a Ross.
Yeah.
I think that I'm pretty sure they're owned
I was literally
all
just
by the
Googling
same.
it.
I know for sure TJ Maxx and Marshalls are owned by the same company. I think Ross is maybe under there as well, but if not, it is spiritually the third sibling in this trio.
I would agree with that. It's like the plaza.
Yeah, if you go to any hood plaza, you're gonna find one of these three. If you go to any maybe even little suburban areas, you might find at least one of these three every once in a while. Great stores. You can get really good clothes for cheap. You go there, you're shopping, you're looking at things left and right. Prices are good.
Yeah.
The lines are always long, so that's like a big L. But also, that's kind of part of the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just living life. You're having a good time when you're in a TJ Maxx or Ross or Marshalls. You know. So how out of the gate is that? My second pick, another fan favorite in the house, at least for me, bacon, egg, and cheese. Incredible trio, lives and dies by me. If bacon, egg, and cheese has no fans, I'm dead. All right.
Bacon, egg, and cheese is really good.
I love a bacon, egg, and cheese.
I want one now. You just saying it.
I want one now too.
I do feel like your picks also paint a picture of a really good day. Have a bacon, egg, and cheese and go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, and Ross. I once saw someone on TikTok say that I think it was this woman who was like saying, oh yeah, like it's like an older woman, which made it funnier. She was like a very much like a mom age, like 50s plus, and she's like, I just took an edible and I'm gonna hang out here in it was like Ross or TJ Maxx or something. And she said, when I come to Marshall's, I don't come with a list. The Marshalls will tell me what I need. And I feel that
good.
I feel that's like it is insane. Like in terms of like store that you don't need anything from, that you leave with everything from. Crazy pull. Yeah, rarely really strong. I almost am like, okay, I gotta play with what I'm bringing now. So then now I go and I give two.
Yeah, you get twice.
I go twice. Okay. In a similar vein, I'm coming through with another food one. Soda, burger, and fries.
Damn, that's good.
It's a meal, you know. You take your bacon, egg, and cheese. You're
good.
coughing up. It's all dry.
That's
you know,
really
granted,
good.
the cheese does moisten the egg and the bacon if you mix them together. So I will give you that. And the grease from the bacon, you can probably eat it without anything, but it's not gonna go down as much. This is the combo of American society, the fabric of our society, even more than the Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls.
Yeah,
I think soda, burger, fries. Like you get the combo, you need them all. They all complement each other so well.
Yeah,
I think
you take away any one of these and it feels incomplete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a bit.
That's a great pick. I'm jealous. I didn't even have that on my list. That's a phenomenal pick. All right.
Yeah, I love them. And I think too, what's fun about them is like, you can enjoy them separately, but I also think people that maybe are never really drinking soda, not often craving fries, this is their time where they're like, today I'm putting it all together.
Yeah.
And I'm having a good meal. Now the next one for what I want to pull, this is tough. And then I'm thinking if I want to go, there's one that I mentioned before we started recording. I think I'm going to skip that one and we'll talk about it later. I think I'm going to go, because how many do I have left? 3 left total? I'm torn because I don't know. I have another food one, but it's not as exciting as the one I had. I'm scared. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go rock, paper, scissors.
Damn. Okay. All right. Yeah.
When we
that's good.
first learned what a game was, it might have been rock, paper, scissors. That might have been one of the first games that you were introduced to as a human on Earth because it's classic. It's also has a really good utilitarian purpose for deciding things. It adds a bit of game to figuring things out. If I didn't want to give it away, I would have said we rock, paper, scissors for who goes first. It is the gamified version of the coin toss.
Yeah.
You know, they need to start doing that at the Super Bowl. Why are we doing the coin toss? Rock, paper, scissors.
To see who goes first.
Yeah, I love it. It's fun.
It.
It's got everything that, it's so much deeper of a game than one might expect. It has a psychology to it. You know, we all know no one wants to pick paper because paper's whack. Do I pick paper? Because you'd never think what kind of idiot's picking paper? And that's where that's how paper wins. Yeah. Paper wins because you underestimate it.
No, it does.
And I love the debate it kind of inspires where people will get mad. Why does paper covers rock? My rock could still work if it's covered in paper. It's just how the game works, you know?
Yeah. No, that's really good. That's a great pick.
It's one of the most balanced games of all time. Also, nothing is OP and nothing is nerfed in rock, paper, scissors. And I think it's also an easy way to explain a lot of other systems in games. Oh, this is basically rock, paper, scissors. Okay, cool, I get it. And now you get it.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your next two that you're bringing to the table?
I'm gonna go a late entry to my list, to be honest with you.
Okay. I heard you click clacking away over there. Yeah,
it was click clacking away. I'm gonna go the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I was thinking about this one.
It is. I'm not super religious.
Another cultural snag from my people. The Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
I'm not majorly religious. You know, I went to church growing up. You know, you go on Easter, you go on Christmas, you do this and that. Did all that. You know, but never went much further than that. But man, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It just rolls off the tongue. It's a trio like none other. So good. And then it spurs from that. It also just spurs like the Holy Trinity. It's one of the only trios that has like a name for the trio.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Destiny's Child also has a name for the trio.
That's true, yeah.
But it's not on my list. I'm not gonna lie. Destiny's Child didn't make the list.
Yeah.
The Holy Trinity and Destiny's Child. Two named trios, yeah.
And then for me, similar to your rock, paper, scissors, I'm going to go Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander. The Gen 1 starters, great trio. Everyone loves them. Even today, we're playing Pokemon. We were talking about Pokemon earlier today. One of the first cards I got, and I was so happy to get it, was like this like special Charmander. And I'm like, oh, I want to get a special Squirtle and a special Bulbasaur now.
Yeah.
You got shirts, you got merch. They come out with hoodies with the little Charmander head, or though Pikachu does a lot for Pokemon. Right. And they tried to bring Eevee in as this like duo for Pikachu, but it doesn't beat the Trinity. All right. It doesn't beat the trio that is the Gen 1 starters, arguably the most known starter set. And, you know, I think it's up there.
Do I have two now? Is it?
Yeah. You have your last two.
My last two. For my last two, for my first of my last two, I'm going to go back to the food. I'm going Neapolitan ice cream.
Ooh.
Vanilla, strawberry, chocolate.
That's good.
And I think this is a unique situation where there almost isn't quite a weakest link. I know some people would say vanilla is the weakest link in there, but there are weirdos who like vanilla ice cream more than anything. I don't relate to you. I don't understand you, but I see you and I acknowledge you. Same for strawberry chocolate. Like, you know, strawberry chocolate, they're neck and neck. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's right up there. Again, vanilla is kind of the weirdo pick, but vanilla does allow you to build a little bit more. But yeah, it's and they complement each other so well. When you get Neapolitan ice cream, you want that full scoop of all of them there together. Yeah. So there you go. That's Neapolitan ice cream. And then for my last one, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the weakest one I have, but I think it's the most interesting one I have, so I'm gonna bring it out here. I see your Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and I raise you the Garfield Fat Cat 3-pack. So what? This was what I told before we recorded. I was like, I have this idea that's really dumb. I'm not going to use it. And then I decided, you know what? I am going to use it. Yeah, Google this so you can just see it on your end. You can, well, you know, if you don't mind adding an image to the
Garfield
Fat Cat 3-pack. This isn't if you know, you know, but if you don't, I will be explaining.
What is
the Garfield
this?
comic books or comics rather? You know, they came in many forms, right? The newspaper, all that, but they also came in like book forms. You know, you can get individual books. You can get them in color. You can get them in black and white, whatever. The Garfield Fat Cat 3-pack was a run of books where they would have 3 books into one book. Hence the name Fat Cat 3-pack. But there were a lot of Fat Cat 3-packs. And as a kid, I actually had like all of them or most of them. We don't have them anymore, obviously, you know, like times, whatever. We had different volumes of them. And it was awesome because you got so much Garfield for such a discounted price, you know? You know, the books were like, I'm looking at some of the pictures. I think they retailed for like $10 or something. And I would take these books home and I would read them the whole book in that day. This is the only reading that I really marathoned. I'm sure I like hit up Harry Potter pretty hard at some point when I was reading those books. But like I would like get this and I'm like, I know I should pace it out. I'm reading all of this tonight. And it was great. You know, a $20 value for like $9. You can't beat it.
The last one was released in 22.
I'm surprised.
That's a long run. 24 volumes.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good run.
There you go. The Fat Cat 3-pack.
Man,
a classic trio in the English literature
That's good
category.
That's good.
What about you? Your last ones.
My last one. I'm torn between two. Maybe we'll give an honorable mention at the end, just to give a shout out to some of these. But for my last official one, it's hard to avoid it. Everyone loves it, at least here in the States, here in the Western Hemisphere, the North Hemisphere. I'm going June, July, August. It's hard. It's the start of summer.
Summer, okay.
You got vacations. You got travel. You got trips. You got the end of school.
That's pretty good. June, July, August is pretty good.
There's something for everyone in that June, July, August trio. You know, it's hard.
That's your last one, right?
That's my last one. That's my fifth.
I know August is still summer, but I kind of feel like June, July, they're more prepared.
I thought about going May, June, July, but then I thought,
no, May
I was
sucks.
like, yeah, the only thing in May, I guess it would be May flowers, right? You know,
I feel like June, July,
person.
August. I'm going to give it to you because we do kind of do seasons in threes. So I would say that is a trio, but it's kind of giving salt, pepper, and cumin. It's like, is anyone really like getting hyped for August though? I know like sometimes there's festivals.
We did our trip in August. We do trips in August. It's a fun
And why
time.
did we do our trip in August? Because it was cheaper. Because no one gave a fuck about August.
No, because it wasn't as hot.
That actually is why, because it wasn't as hot. The Chicago trip.
But that's fair.
But
that's fair.
We kind of came after the party left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like summertime shy. It's like it's more like back to school season shy. You know. So yeah, that one's probably like in terms of being a definitive trio. That one gets like lightly dinged, but I do think it is a vibe. It's definitely a time because this September or October, this like fall time. It's kind of like. I don't know. It's like we got to wrap it up. The year is kind of done. We're kind of speeding through things. Yeah, these are pretty good.
For a shout out for mine, it couldn't crack into the top 5, although it is in the top 5 of my heart.
The Killer Piece.
No, that is good. I thought about doing that. I thought you were gonna do that, which is why I didn't take it.
Okay.
I was gonna go iPhone, AirPods, MacBook. It's a great trio.
Nice,
it's a tech trio, so it's me. It's very fitting for me. And if I'm going somewhere, I'm making sure I got these.
I think that I would count that as like a trio.
You know what I mean?
I feel like that's.
If you know, you know. You got the AirPods. You're switching from one device to the other seamlessly. You got your phone messaging on your MacBook. It's a trio to me.
That is a trio. Good combination. Yeah. When we went to the library, that's what I'm throwing in the bag.
That's what you're throwing in the bag.
Technically, I might be doing my Sony WM whatever's you gave me, but if I'm in a pinch, that's a good trio.
When we pack for a trip, what are we bringing?
Yeah,
we're bringing that trio.
That is the trio. That should honestly make your list. I think that's a pretty good. It's a pretty
good
one.
It was tough between that and then June, July. Yes,
yeah,
that's the thing. Because there's other options for that trio.
Yeah, someone said the iPad, but I don't know. We all know we're not using that iPad. You know what I mean?
Do you have an honorable mention?
Yeah, my other honorable mention, the Killer Peas, like I mentioned, that's target first last name, Joseph Painsel. Ricky Pooge, and Gabrielle Peck.
Yep.
Killer Peas is the trio of players of the LA Galaxy. They often are, if you watch the games, you'll see them kind of making plays together. Oh, so-and-so passes to so-and-so. Oh, they score. They're kind of like high scorers, high active on the pitch. So we have a lot of stars, but I think those are like some of our bigger stars that have kind of broken out. And the commentators / PR / whoever kind of dubbed them the Killer Peas because they all have the last name with the P.
Yep.
And that's like a fun little thing.
Yeah.
But it's too early. You ain't Jordan and Scotty, yet. You know what I mean? Like I love it, but I feel like we're kind of looking for a more general, the common man can acknowledge these trios.
Yes.
And unfortunately,
it's too contextual.
I go on the street. I don't think y'all know who I'm talking about when I say the Killer Peas.
If I say, have you seen the Killer Peas? You might not know what I'm talking about.
I don't think you're going to know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then my other nod that you got spoiled before, so let me not bring it, was the Triforce. That's the video game version of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Courage, wisdom, and what is it, fucking power or something? What's going on over there?
So, something like that.
Triforce stuff.
Which
they just gave me actual stuff to buy for the Triforce.
Isn't that good of a trio? If you don't remember,
that's another reason that I knew there'd be too many holes to poke in it. Let me see what power. It is power, wisdom, and courage. But I feel like you're always going after it. I do think it also gets dinged because in a couple games they made the Triforce extra pieces. I think Wind Waker has that problem where it's you're collecting shards of it and shit. It's getting sloppy.
Yeah.
But it is the iconic gamer white man uniform, right? The Triforce t-shirt with the cargo shorts,
Yeah. No, it is definitely.
But
up
in
there.
a way, did that do more harm for society than good? Maybe it did. I don't know. Real quick, can I hear your list again, just so we can kind of really do a quick comparison of the two?
Yeah. So a rundown for me, top to bottom, we have TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross.
Really good, yeah.
Is 1. We have Bacon, Egg, and Cheese at 2. We have Father, Son, Holy Spirit at 3. We have Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander at 4. We have June, July, August at 5.
Okay, I think your strongest, low key strongest, I think Marshalls, Ross, and stuff.
That's why it's number 1.
And then weakest, I would say Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander.
Really? You
They're
put that
cool.
below the June, July, August?
I think so, because they're cool,
All
but
right.
it feels a little cheap. You know, it's like, also there's so many starters. Every game we get a starter. And
That's
I get they're the
true,
most
but-
iconic because they're the first. But like,
They've been emulating that since day one. You know what
aren't
I
we
mean?
like aren't we kind of tired? You know, a little bit. Like, it's like, I don't know. It feels
I'll
a
give you
little.
that.
It's your most washed one. I feel like it's your Triforce. So if I had, it feels like
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like not that like wavy versus the Moss, the Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. I think that's genius. I think it's perfect. It's a perfect trio. I really like that one because it's stupid. It's specific. It's culturally relevant.
Mm-hmm.
For those listening who don't know, I'm talking about Latinos fucking love, at least Mexicans. Like I can't speak for all of Latin America in the United States. We fucking love Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Like if you had a mom who was Hispanic, you have probably been personally victimized by having to spend hours and hours in one of these stores. Like I cannot emphasize enough. Like there is no comparison point. Because I feel like other cultures don't cling to store, like maybe chains of food or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
stores, I don't know what's up with us.
That
in
was your third place. Like it's a third
that
place in
is-
some communities.
yes,
You
like,
know, it's.
I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. I think we love a deal.
Mm-hmm.
We also
And there's a mystery to
a big
it.
part of I don't know how much this hits in like your community. I'd be curious if y'all do this, but I feel like there are some Latinos who like to buy ahead. So it's like, they'll just be buying stuff like, I feel like I could use this for so-and-so's kid. Or,
Yeah.
Or, I knew someone she would buy like stuff for like kids that didn't even exist yet. Like she'd be buying stuff for like our kids.
That's extreme.
Being
That's,
like, for when we have a kid.
Yeah. Outside of like
She's
grandparents,
ready to go.
we never did that.
Yeah, no. Like she was out there, like people will like, do that. So it is, I also think too, like when you go in, there's like so much lore too. Like it was funny. We went to Ross to get part of my costume. I was Hulkenberg for Halloween content at work, and I was like, where I could get like a shitty cheap corset looking thing that's gonna be a Ross or TJ Maxx. Like I know they're gonna hold it down. And then when we were there, you saw a Spider-Man shirt. You're like,
Yeah,
pretty good deal. I was like,
it's a pretty good deal.
go
It's a
ahead, and I
great
got you
shirt.
that. I wasn't planning on buying it, but I said, Isaiah, you know what?
It encompassed the
throw it
act
into
of
the
going to a TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross.
Yeah.
You know?
You can get some great stuff there. I've been wanting to set aside some money and just like see what I could get there. I got my bag that I take to all our games. I got that. It's a
Yeah.
Steve Madden purse. I got that at TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So mine were we had Jordan, Scotty, and Dennis Rodman as my first. Then I went soda, burger, fries,
It's so good.
rock, paper, scissors, Neapolitan ice cream, and the Garfield Fat Cat 3-pack. What do you think is my strongest and what is my weakest?
I'm gonna be honest. I think if you move your number one,
Mm-hmm.
you just slide it down 3 and put it at number 4. That's how I would order yours.
Oh, you
I
lower
think
Michael Jordan and
I lower Michael because it is a great trio. But I think you're right in that MJ outshines the others so much in longevity, in culture, like the things we talk about now. I think MJ just still is so far ahead that it's hard to, you don't even think of these as a trio. So it's, for me, that knocks it down some. But I think soda, burger, fries, elite pick. Rock, paper, scissors, elite pick.
Thank you.
Those are two that I didn't see coming, and I'm jealous I didn't think of them.
So what's my weakest then, do you think? Is it?
I mean, I'm gonna go Garfield
Is it
just because
Garfield?
I don't know. I didn't know what that was.
Well, hold on. When you heard what it was, you weren't like
I mean,
excited?
it does sound cool. I am a big growing up. I love the whole Scholastic Book Fair. You know, you're going to school, you're getting these books, you're Calvin and Hobbes, and this, that, and the third. Like, I was always there for it growing up, so I can see how this could
I'm
swindle its way
surprised.
into my life.
Is there anything you're surprised I didn't have? I'm surprised you didn't have the Arkham games. But I'm not sure if that's a trilogy. I was Googling like video game trilogies because I was considering using one of those. But fun fact, a lot of them they became not trilogies.
Yeah.
And then the trilogies that did exist maybe had flaws, like the Jack and Daxter one got flaws. The
Sure.
the Spyro one, you already know I don't think Spyro was actually that good when you look back at it. It's just like, actually, I think I was just 7 and he was a dragon, and I think that was fun for me.
So, and the more I think of it, the more I sit on it, the more I do wish I didn't do the starters and did something else. In a quick retrospect on this game that we just played, because not only one, I tried to stay away from gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like there's so many good trilogies
but
outside,
also
trios
it's the
outside
not games,
of games,
I guess, too.
Yeah.
Like,
so I did dip a little bit into there with that. I think one of the better ones that I should have subbed it out for was maybe like an Ed, and Eddie. That's a great trio. Love that trio growing
Ed and
up.
Eddie. You know I hate Ed and Eddie, though.
Powerpuff Girls was another great
them
trio.
as well. They were pretty
coming
good.
up. I think I had options outside of those that I could have reached for, and next time I'll be better. But I definitely want to do this again.
Between us, who do you think won?
That's man.
I think the Ross thing really did hit.
But I think my
soda burger fries
and the rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. But
I think Jordan's better than Squirtle. Like for like basic answers, I think this is a more interesting basic answer.
I'm gonna. Man, but at the same
my
time,
three pack was kind of whack though. Yeah, but I think it was creative though.
I'll even give you the Neapolitan.
I do think
that's also
Garfield is the weakest thing I have between both lists is Garfield.
Yes, you have the.
But I have the worst and the best thing.
Yes, you have the high
because I dared to try Isaiah. That's
yeah. Man, I don't know. I say we let the people vote.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
I guess we'll reveal maybe next episode what we would have voted for.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn.
Yeah.
I also think low-key,
I gotta sit on it because these are really good.
I hate to shade the religious people who might be listening. I feel like Father, Son, Holy Spirit also too much of an easy pull.
That's trio.
That's iconic though. It is iconic.
It is the trio. Like it's
and I do think too, God and Jesus, super close. Holy Spirit, kind of the weaker link. Holy Spirit is the vanilla of that Neapolitan ice cream.
You know, that's fair.
No one's rocking with the Holy. I mean, people do talk about the Holy Ghost. They're like, oh, I feel the Holy Ghost or whatever. But
look, this is not a contextual.
Jesus, though, people love Jesus. There's Jesus, there's baby Jesus. Like,
yeah.
You know, you have like a lot going there. God and Jesus, like totally competitive.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, not so much.
Another honorable mention that I wish I added. Matter of fact, I'll sub this in for almost any of mine.
Sure. What do you have?
A, B, and C. A, B, and C hit so really hard. I should have subbed that in.
Great song too. A, B, C.
Yeah.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. ABC is pretty good. Also, I like the idea of like more abstract ones.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah, this was a lot of fun.
If I had to pick, I think I might give it to you. I think you have your range is wider, but you're top heavy.
Yeah.
Again, in Garfield, that's really well below. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know what it was, so I can't. Top 5 draft, I'm letting you have that. You ain't even gotta fight for it. The soda burger fries, rock, paper, scissors, Neapolitan, elite answers. You have 3 elite answers. I feel like I got 2, 1 elite, and then like 2 more really good ones. So I think I got to give it to you if I had to pick.
Thank you. I do think I get dinged as well for
you do get
2 foods. 2 foods. I wish I did. I wanted to avoid the 2 foods, but I just really couldn't. I
mean, it was great.
Thank you.
Could have also went pizza burger fries. I think is also a pretty solid trio. Not better than
it's
soda.
It's not really a trio though because they don't go
fries.
together.
I mean, do with me. Hey, you go to Costco.
You're telling me you're gonna eat a burger and then eat a slice of pizza?
I feel like
that's not
if
a trio.
You're at
those
like
are just
a pizza
3,
party
those
or something,
are just 3
like
good things.
I guess that's fair.
That's not a trio because you know
you're fair.
You know, that's like saying like Beyonce and Prince. It's like those are just 2 different good artists. So you can't just like.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. I immediately retract my statement.
See, the reason the Holy Spirit goes together because it's like, or the Trinity, it's like when you pray, you do the the top, the bottom, you're doing the whole thing. You know, it's like a whole. The cross is shaped. They really like thought the marketing of the religion is really like they really thought about it. They had a plan. They had like a vision board, and they had like people come in and test everything out.
So
this was really fun.
This is fun. We should do this again.
Yeah,
I'm down to.
This was a good idea on your part.
Do this again.
Which I don't know if I said that in the show. This was your idea. This is.
I got some more drafts and
it took me a second to really. I'm like I don't know about this. And I'm like, you know what? I do think it could be fun. I bought in, and I'm glad I did. There's some good stuff here. The bacon and cheese is really good too, though.
Bacon and cheese is really good.
Yeah,
I love a trio where there's not only is there the 3? But there's like an order to
I didn't
the 3
think of it
that
either.
Really
what I thought of
clutches it.
I thought of the BLT. But I'm like, I don't. Who gives a fuck about the BLT?
I don't really care about the BLT.
Bacon, lettuce, tomato. You don't even like tomatoes.
No,
So
I
I
like
was like,
tomatoes.
yeah. The BLT, I was like, but I couldn't, like, I saw BLT and I'm like, no, well, not that, but I never thought bacon, egg, and cheese. I guess it's because, I'm not, it was never on the East Coast.
One step further, you go there. Yeah.
I was never on the East Coast like that, so that's why I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And now for poll of the show. Last week we asked, how many games are in your 2024 backlog? I do wish I was a little clearer in wording it, because I think I got at least one reply where I'm like, I think people meant the full thing and not just the year, but I feel like most people probably got it.
Oh yeah.
The tied is first in the last one, 0 to 5, 36.1%, 21 plus, 36.1%. So people are on the extremes.
Yeah, they're either on it all the way or totally off.
Yeah,
and so far behind.
Yeah, with 36 votes over on our Twitter. That was.
Did you vote?
Yeah, I did vote, and I put the 21 plus.
Right?
Did you vote as well? Where were you at? I forgot.
I think I'm in the 6 to 10 camp.
Yeah, that's really nice. I wish I was there.
So yeah, I got a ways to go, but not too bad. I'll take it. The upcoming this week, the poll we're going with is, of the following, which is the best trio? You heard our choices. You heard ours in the draft. We're taking what we think is 2 of our strongest from each person, and we're facing them off and letting you guys vote. We have Soda Burger Fries, TJ Maxx Marshalls Ross, Rock Paper Scissors, and Bacon, Egg, and Cheese.
Those are all like really good trios.
So good answers. Yeah. So go ahead, vote. Let us know which you think is the best trio.
And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox@gamesandnotgames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating. I'm just thinking of other trios. That's why I'm trying to laugh. I'm starting to think of and then I started thinking of because I'm like, oh, it's funny. We're not even a trio. We're just 2 people.
Yeah,
but I'm like, you, me, and Bruce.
Yeah.
The cat.
I thought about that as well.
That
as
would
like
be
a trio.
really cute. Yeah. Anyway, it's fun. Let us know your trios too, like on socials and in the comments and stuff. And if you have game ideas too, you can send it to the inbox of Games and Not Games. It would be really fun to bring one of y'all's games to the table. Be great. And just do that. That could be really cool. So
hell yeah.
Please hit us up with that.
Let us know. If you're an audio listener, remember you can also catch the video version over on YouTube at Games and Not Games. If you like the video, be sure to leave a like, a thumbs up, maybe drop a comment, and helps us get in front of more people, helps us spread the show as far as we can. Give us a follow on social media while you're at it. We're everywhere. We're on Twitter at Games and Not, everywhere else at Games and Not Games. That's Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitch, Threads, everywhere. And yeah, I really want to almost now ask for some draft ideas, because I have a couple. I really like this draft game. I think we can do some more of this. There's some fun ideas I have a brewing, but let us know if there's anything you want to see us draft. I think that could be fun. Till next time, gang.
Gang.
Peace.